Quarterbacking, John Paul II is today's game. Number 3, Grayson James. And running back, number 12, Carson Collins. Wide receivers are number 2, Miles Parker. Number 11, Donovan Johnson. And number 9, Gerald Bradley. Coaching staff for the Cardinals.
Two teams from the same district squaring off on the state's biggest stage as we start day number 2 of the TAP State Championships. Parish Episcopal and John Paul II for the Division I title. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. Mike Leslie joined by Matt Tarbutton, Gabe Duarte, and Larry Thexton this morning for the Division I championship. Two very good football teams, gentlemen. A matchup of teams that are used to one another playing in the same district, but a lot to be expected from these two teams today.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great game today. We've got two teams that are excited to play each other. Obviously a rematch from early on in the season, but it should be another great matchup after a first day of six-man games yesterday.
This is the clear-cut number 1 team in the state at the private school level. I understand Trinity Christian Cedar Hill would probably want to be in that argument as well, but Parish beat them earlier this season. So for my money anyway, the clear-cut number 1 private school team in the state of Texas against realistically the best story in the state of Texas in John Paul II, a team that had lost 58 consecutive district games dating back to 2009. Snapped that streak with an 11 overtime win earlier this season against Bishop Dunn, the defending champ at this level, and now here they are playing for a state championship.
It's a really cool story. It's a really cool story. JP has nothing to lose. There's no pressure on them, and then the pressure of the expectations for Parish. They're supposed to win. Can they live up to that? So I like how loose JP's been practicing all week. I think they're going to play a good game tonight.
For the sake of Matt Tarbutton, gentlemen, let's all slide down a little bit to the left. He's not in the frame at the moment. Let's make sure we're taking care of him here.
You're good.
Here's Matt Tarbutton, ladies and gentlemen. Now you can see him at home. Again, a big matchup here. 11-1 Parish Episcopal is on the year. Their only loss came early this year against a Hampton Fay-led All Saints Episcopal team, an All Saints team that I think would argue if they were healthy, they could be at this stage as well. But Parish Episcopal, just a fantastic season and led by arguably the best quarterback in the entire state, Preston Stone.
It should absolutely be an exciting game. Can't wait to see what happens here. As you mentioned, they're district rivals. You know, with that, you never know what can happen. They're familiar with each other. The coaching staff for John Paul II has been in place for 3 years now, so they've got some familiarity with what Parish does. And they're going to have a mountain to climb going up against Stone there, but it should be an exciting state final.
John Paul II, a very young football team as well, guys. They are a team that, again, they've been kind of finding themselves over the course of this season, 9-3 on the year. After they beat Bishop Dunn, they lost to this Parish Episcopal team, 47-7. But again, a very, very young football team. This is a different bunch than they were a month and change ago when they played Parish for the first time, and they expect this to be a different football game.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be different because, one, it's hard to beat a team twice, especially a team that's young, a team that's, really kind of figuring out its own. Once it's able to kind of settle down, figure itself out, like JP2 has done over the last 6 to 7 weeks, it should make for an exciting ball game today.
Our players to watch tonight as you get a chance to see the teams coming out on the field here just about 10 minutes before kickoff. Parish Episcopal quarterback Preston Stone, we've already mentioned him a little bit. The number 1 rated dual-threat quarterback in the entire country for the class of 2021, depending on which recruiting service you trust. Rivals has him number 1, 24/7 Sports has him number 2. May well be the best quarterback in the entire state of Texas. Meanwhile, for JP2, Jerron Bradley, their wide receiver, 4-star recruit, has 16 scholarship offers, 6'5", 200 pounds, guys. His head coach, George Teague, says he's a monster.
He had a lot of schools come in during the week. We had Arkansas State made a call and some other very impressive schools. But one of the stories that Coach Teague told that I liked the best, the kid showed up on Friday before 7-on-7 and had the playbook memorized over the weekend. And that's when Coach Teague said, I know I've got a quarterback.
Just in time for the pregame prayer and national anthem, let's send it down to the field.
Our hearts are filled with joy and gratitude on this spectacular, sunny December day. We thank you for the many blessings you have bestowed on us, especially the gifts of our faith, our families, our friends, and our freedoms. We are so so grateful for these two excellent Christian schools competing here today in the TAPS Division I State Championship game. Parish Episcopal School and John Paul II High School. We ask your blessing on all those participating today, the student athletes, coaches, trainers, and officials. We pray that they will all compete to the best of their ability and be safe from injury and harm. And at the end of the game, may we all come together as one community of faith in your name. And Lord, we ask that we all have a safe journey on our way home today. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.
Presented this afternoon by Color Guard from the Junior ROTC Battalion of Midway High School.
Captains for today's game for Parish Episcopal: Preston Stone, the junior quarterback; Noah Love, Caleb Culp, Alejandro Garcia, and Blake Burris, 4 seniors. And for John Paul II, Miles Parker, a junior; Carson Collins, Lawrence Thiel, and Cole Record, 3 seniors. As we are just minutes away from kickoff here at Midway ISD's Panther Stadium for the 2019 TAPS Division I State Championship game. Parish Episcopal 11-1 on the year, 4-0 in TAPS Division I District 2. JP2 out of the same district, 2-2 in district play, 10-3 on their 2019 season. A historic season for this Cardinals football team, the best season in school history by a landslide. And they are just moments away, led by their head coach George Teague, from playing for a state championship. Teague in his 3rd year, 16-18 in those 3 seasons at JP2. Daniel Novikov, the head coach at Parish Episcopal, his 3rd season as well, 26-12 in that span. He was the offensive coordinator for the Panthers prior to taking over as the head man. Our officials today: Leighton Smith, the referee; John Paddenberg, your umpire. It's a 7-man crew: Stephen Barber, Scott Slaughter, Jason Dush, Michael Leva, and Russ Bowen rounding out the crew as these two teams make their way to midfield for the pregame coin toss. Fellas, this one's got just about everything you could want in a football game. What's the biggest thing you're looking forward to over the course of this afternoon?
I think the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is see how John Paul II defends against the the arm and the athleticism that Parish has at the skill positions. Obviously, first time they met, Parish won, pretty handily. And so, obviously, second time around, you get another chance to look at them, fix what you did wrong. So I want to see how Coach Teague, obviously a defensive player, when he was playing, attacks this Parish Episcopal team because, obviously seen him before and all that, he kind of able to change things and allow it to, hopefully call a little bit better game than he did before.
So John Paul II will receive the opening kickoff as they come to the near sideline, fired up and ready to roll. Parish Episcopal will kick the football away to start today here in the TAPS Division I State Championship game. We'll be back with the kickoff in just a moment on TAPS TV.
Something to keep an eye on as this game plays out. The forecast is calling for a 17-mile-per-hour wind with gusts up to 24 miles per hour. We saw very similar numbers yesterday, and it did have an impact on the ball at times. The wind has completely reversed direction from where we were yesterday, but the intensity of it seems to be very similar.
Parish Episcopal set to kick with that wind. And as Gabe mentioned, it is entirely opposite of what we saw a day ago. It was from our right to left across the field. It has flipped in the opposite direction, but still quite strong. As Reed Boyster gets set to kick it away, and before he can even do so, sure enough, right on cue, the football knocked off the tee by the wind. Parish Episcopal in their white uniforms with red numbers and blue piping around the numbers, and of course JP2, the Cardinals in their cardinal red with white numbers and blue helmets.
Yeah, Parish sending a message right off the bat by taking the wind and making Grayson throw into it, so they want to get field position early and try to get a lead early.
It'll be Boyster to kick it away out of the hold of the freshman Daniel Demery. Don't be surprised if that's not the first time we say his name. He's an extremely talented freshman. The kick with the wind into the end zone and bounces through. And it'll be a touchback for JP2, and they'll start at the 20-yard line. Beg your pardon, the 25 as they bring the ball out. And we get a chance to see Grayson James in this Cardinals offense for the first time today.
Yeah, I think we're going to have exciting first drive from the Cardinals. Obviously, everybody's a little juiced up. First time they've been here. Really ever as a program, so hopefully they can calm themselves down, get ready to play. Obviously going into the wind, it's going to be a little tough, so we'll see if they start out with a couple runs to kind of loosen it up.
Grayson James, the starting quarterback. Carson Collins, the running back, slotted behind him, and he'll get the handoff on the first play of the football game. Plunges into the pile and picks up maybe 2. Offensive line left to right for JP2, Caden Kittler, Blake Johnson, Zeke Skinner, Sky Moon. Name of the day in high school football anywhere in the state. Sky Moon is their right guard, and Nathan Brown, the right tackle. Donovan Johnson, their starting tight end. Jerron Bradley, Shunte Nettles, and Miles Parker, their 3 starting wide receivers, as the officials have a brief stoppage here. We'll see what Leighton Smith has to say here. So they may be trying to fix the clock, perhaps.
I'm a little surprised that JP's in a hurry. They're going to go up tempo here and try to get as many plays off. I thought maybe they'd want to do some ball control and try to keep Preston Stone off the field.
11:37 is what the clock reads now after they made a slight adjustment before second down and 8 for JP2. James to the air for the first time today. Over the middle, completes it, and making a move to break free is Miles Parker. He's got the first down out to the 40-yard line. A good start for JP2.
Yeah, that was an excellent slant pass across the middle. Great touch on the pass and way to make a move after. Against this Parish defense, they're going to have to make a catch and then get some yards after the catch.
Fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 at the 38 for the Cardinals. A little miscommunication in the backfield, but they're able to get it out to Parker, and he's got some running room again. Parker across midfield and finally taken down. Daniel Demery coming through to make the tackle. Give you the starters for Parish's defense, a 3-4 set. Josue Munoz, Noah Richards, Blake Burris, the defensive line. Colby Blatnick, Andrew Merrick, Keegan Addison, and Kenneth Borders. There are 4 starters at the linebacker positions. And then it's Luke Bridges, Henry Partridge, Caleb Culp, and Noah Love across the secondary. But again, you'll see Daniel Demery, number 14, the freshman, on the field an awful lot as well in the secondary. Fresh set of downs once again for JP2. A good start to this football game for them. And the handoff to Collins up the middle. He picks up 7 on 1st and 10.
And keep your eye on number 99, Blake Burris, the left defensive end for Parish Episcopal. He is a beast down there. And John Paul's going to have to make sure they try and stay away from his side.
Burris is 6'5", 265. Committed to Air Force, and I don't know if they can fit him in a plane, but he's an absolute monster on the edge for Parish Episcopal.
And Coach Calhoun's going to like him.
2nd down and 3, handoff up the middle once again for Carson Collins, falls his way forward for another 1st down. And gentlemen, a very impressive start here for JP2, moving the ball consistently.
Absolutely. I'm loving the play calling by JP2. They're spreading it all over the field, keeping them honest with the run as well, really kind of trying to come out and really keeping that defense from Parish on their heels.
1st and 10 at the 36 in Parish territory. Again, a rematch of a 47-7 Parish Episcopal win back in early November. But look at this over the middle. Wide open is Miles Parker. Breaking away to the near sideline. Touchdown, JP2.
Tempo works like a charm. Somebody forgot to tell JP2 they're an underdog in this game.
Yeah, they are excited. They've got the energy on the sideline. They're ready to go. Coach Teague's excited. Looks like Bear Bryant down on the sideline with his houndstooth hat, it looks like. But, man, they are excited, ready to go.
Grayson James to Miles Parker, 30 yards for the touchdown. And JP2 with a much better start than what they had the first time these two teams met. It is 7-0, just 2:45 into the football game.
We're going to see a lot of great play from both these quarterbacks, but, man, what a throw into the wind. He drilled that 17 yards downfield. Looked like the wind didn't even make an impact on it. That was a great start by JP2 and Grayson James. Now it's time for Preston Stone and Parish to answer.
Yeah, I think if you're JP2 there, that's the kind of start you wanted. You can't have a slow start against a very potent Episcopal offense. So I think that was really anything you could ask for. That was huge.
7-0 start for John Paul II, the 10-3 underdog in this football game. Some might have said rather substantially. Lost the first matchup between these two teams in district play by 40 points. But that was a game, gentlemen, we were talking about this before we came on the air this morning. That was a game where things went wrong for JP2 very, very quickly in that game. Fell behind 21-0 in the first quarter. Parish scored a defensive touchdown and a special teams touchdown on their way to that 21-0 lead. And JP2 just couldn't recover. Today, very clearly a much different start to this game.
Almost a flip. I mean, that's almost exactly how Parish did it at their place. A couple big plays, scored early. The trick will now be, can the JP keep Parish pinned and not give up a lot of field position kicking into the win right now?
They'll have to tee it up as well here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure John Paul II is probably going to have to line drive this. Maybe a pooch kick, kind of keep them from able to get a big gain here on this kickoff against the wind.
Wyatt Dewerson set to kick it away. Caleb Culp deep to return. Kick toward the sideline, and it'll actually be Demery to field the kick at the 23. Breaks one tackle, but pushed out of bounds at the 27. And for the first time today, we see Preston Stone, the 4-star, highly recruited quarterback. Only a junior, 6'3", 218 pounds. He's got 46 scholarship offers. And if you name the school, he's got an offer from them. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. His top 5 right now, SMU, Stanford, Clemson, Texas, and USC. And I think maybe some of you at home are saying, SMU in that bunch? But his father went to SMU. His older brother that he played with in the last several years at Parish has gone to SMU as well. They are very much in the mix, and it would be a huge get for Sonny Dykes and company if they can bring in the number 1 dual-threat quarterback in the class of 2021. First play of the day for Preston Stone. He's going to keep it himself, and he's got a lot of running room. First down and more across the 40, undercut at the 47-yard line. Got a good start for Preston Stone.
Got a flag on the play here.
Yeah, a little laundry on the field. Came from
flag back at the 32.
Came from the side judge over here. JP says it's against the Panthers of Parish, but we'll see what they call. Nope. Goes against JP2.
So the run for Stone will stand, and that has them out to the market at the 46-yard line, and a fresh first and 10 for the Panthers.
Hey, Matt, JP opened up in man. They're going to try to man up these receivers. This is going to be fun to watch.
Absolutely, yeah, especially with as live as an arm as Preston Stone has. This is going to be a good matchup to see on the outside for sure.
3 wide receivers set for Stone. Sends a man in motion. That's Culp, and he's going to throw it that way. Beg your pardon, it's Christian Benson breaking the first tackle to get across midfield. And gang tackled by JP2 as he gets down to the 47 on the Cardinals side of the field.
You know, that's where they got hurt in the last matchup. The running backs for Parish really took advantage of the bigger linebackers from JP2, and it looks like they more of a dime package, more secondary guys in trying to keep up with these Parish running backs.
Second down and 3 after Benson picked up 7 on the first play of the series here. Benson and Corin Lynch in the backfield with Stone. Stone's going to keep it himself off the read option here and falls forward very close to first down yardage.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Preston Stone's running ability so far. A good-looking kid, good-sized kid, but a lot of times quarterbacks, especially nowadays, just want to sit in the pocket and run, but he's definitely putting it on for his team to really will them to score on this drive.
Stone on the year just shy of 700 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. In addition to his 3,078 passing yards, 36 TDs through the air, only 4 interceptions. This time he'll hand it off to Christian Benson, who gets around the left edge just a little bit, picks up about 4 on the play.
Looks like we've got an injury at midfield. One of the Cardinals down.
Player down for JP2 appears to be Kyle Taylor, their junior defensive end.
It was a great block on the perimeter there. Number 28 for Parish, Karen Lynch, just sealed the edge. Just that's going to be a matchup that if JP does go with the smaller DBs trying to man up everybody, advantage Parish in the run game, blocking those guys.
Injury time out on the field. We'll take it with him here on TAPS TV. We'll be right back with the Division I state championship game.
Aiden loves playing baseball. He's in his element when he picks up a baseball bat.
When Aiden tore his ACL last year, we were all devastated. We didn't think that a 13-year-old could have a problem such as that.
Children's Health Andrews Institute for Orthopedic and Sports Medicine not only repaired Aiden's ACL, but they gave him the knowledge and skills to prevent any future injuries.
Now, less than a year later, he's back to hitting homers and doing phenomenal.
Back at Panther Stadium here in Waco, Texas for the Division I state championship game, JP2 and Parish Episcopal. 7-0 Cardinals in front right now. Their junior defensive end, Kyle Taylor, still down on the football field. And Larry, you were just saying one of the things that their coaching staff had mentioned to you earlier this week was that he was one of the guys they felt like they could get some pressure with.
Yeah, they walk him up in Coach Ferris's 4-2-5 scheme. He plays defensive end, and then he can drop back and play linebacker, and they needed him to have a huge game today to have a chance. They thought he could run down Preston a little bit in the backfield, but he's walking off. Not going to speculate what's wrong, but they need to get him well and back in the game as soon as they can.
Is walking off under his own power, which is a good sign. Slowly, but certainly Cardinals fans hoping that he can get back on the football field and help out their defense as they deal with now 2nd and 6 as Preston Stone and company are down to the 40 on the Cardinals side of the field. Stone looking to the sideline for the play from offensive coordinator Matt Faulkner. Faulkner and Novikov team up to call the plays for the Panthers offense. Stone out of shotgun. Looking deep on the near side of the field and overshoots his intended target, Gabe Walls, out of bounds. It'll be 3rd and 6.
You know, a little bit of a push up the middle. One of the Harris boys was out for the first meeting. Dylan was, number 54. He's here today, and they're actually getting a little bit of a pass rush and putting some pressure on him right up the middle, something that did not happen the first time these two teams met.
Yeah, with a quarterback like Stone, you're going to have to get some pressure up the middle. If you can't, or at least get some sort of rush on him, he's going to have a field day.
So 3rd and 6 now for Stone. He's got a 5 wide receiver set, 3 to the bottom of the formation. All 11 look to the sideline for an adjustment in the play as they've got 4 on the play clock. They get the snap off. Stone looking near side, has a man complete. It's Caleb Culp. First down and then some as he steps inside the 30 and darts out of bounds with a first down.
Cam Peters, the corner for JP2, able to force him out of bounds there.
That was a beautiful smash route. Just stopped, hit the outside. Man, it was a beautiful route, beautiful throw.
So 1st and 10 for for Parish Episcopal down to the 28-yard line. Stone again with 2 backs in the backfield with him. Corin Lynch and Caleb Culp. They'll get Lynch, Culp, and Christian Benson on the field as much as possible. But right here, nice pursuit by the front 7 from the JP2 defense coming out of the pile with the tackle.
It was number 50, Kevin Harris, who wrapped him up initially and drug him to the ground.
Mark Mazer in on the play as well. And that sets up 2nd and 11.
Yeah, the one thing that doesn't worry me with the JP defense is their ability to stop plays up the middle. The edge is where Parish is really exploiting them at the moment.
We'll see if they can do that here on 2nd down and 11. Play action, deep, end zone, close to it and incomplete. Evan Green couldn't quite haul it in.
Big 3rd down here for JP. Coach Teague he said, we just need a stop early in the game. We just need to find a way to get a stop, even if it's just a field goal, that's a stop.
3rd down and 11 coming. Again, Reed Boyster, the kicker for Parish Episcopal. From here, it would be a 46, perhaps 47-yard attempt, depending on where they spot the ball out of the hold of Gabe Grubbs. But for the moment, Parish is trying to pick up a first down here on 3rd and 11. 3 wide receivers to the top of the formation for Stone. They're going to set up the screen on the near side, and a whole lot of running room for Christian Benson. First down and then some, breaks a tackle, touchdown, Parish Episcopal.
That's a great call. 3rd and long, the screen. That's just smart football. Great call by Parish there.
And on the other end, you can't excuse that bad tackling. He tried to put the hit on him, but that was a time where he really should have wrapped him up.
So Preston Stone to Christian Benson, 29-yard touchdown pass, and they're an extra point away from knotting this thing up midway through quarter number 1.
Yeah, the biggest thing you need to watch in these state championship games is execution. Obviously every team that you're going to see in these games are going to be good, but it comes down to getting the job done. If you can execute better than the other team, it gives you the distinct possibility of taking home that trophy.
Extra point from Boyster up and through, and we're knotted up at 7.
Yeah, those screens are such killers, Matt. 3rd and long, JP's got their ears pinned back. They're coming up field, want to get after Stone, and screen's just wide open. It was great call.
Good blocking on the outside as well. Once he broke that final tackle, it was all over. He really had to only beat that one man, and he was able to do so. And Christian Benson finds pay dirt, and we're knotted up at 7 here midway through quarter number 1.
Well, the good news for JP, it's not 21-0. They're still right in this game. So I think we can put the rest of what they were worried about in that first game.
Certainly a better start for John Paul II. So a long way to go for them for sure. But definitely a better start to this football game, and they'll try to continue that as they take the football back here. Boyster set to kick the ball away. It'll be Terrence Brooks, the sophomore, deep to return for the Cardinals. Once again out of the hold of Demery. And with the wind, Boyster again able to put it through the back of the end zone. And it'll come out to the 25 for Grayson James and company. Nice drive from them the first time they had the ball. Went right down the field in 2 minutes and 45 seconds and scored the opening touchdown of the football game. Grayson James to Miles Parker, the opening salvo, and they'll try to repeat that here as they take the ball back.
Yeah, this is the fun part. The second drive, the DC's had a chance to look, get a feel for what they wanted to do that first drive. Let's see what he's going to take away here and what adjustments he's making. That's always the fun battle to watch, is the chess match between the two coordinators.
Rusty Oglesby, the offensive coordinator for JP2. Will Galusha, the defensive coordinator for Parish Episcopal. And on the first play of the drive, they toss it out on the right-hand side. Not a whole lot of running room for Grant Robinson. They string him out and may have lost a yard.
Yeah, I think if I'm JP2's offensive coordinator, you've really got to try to work vertically and not horizontally. Obviously, with the speed that Parish has on defense and size as well, you really can't try to, go sideways on them. You got to get north and south.
Grayson James on that opening drive of the football game, 3 for 3 for 62 yards and a touchdown. Now faces second down and 11 from his own 24. Looking over the middle, has a man complete. He's 4 for 4 to start the day as Donovan Johnson makes the grab, and it's a first down.
Wind does not seem to be an issue for him at all. Another nice little route right in the middle, wide open, taking advantage of their running backs versus Parish's linebackers, kind of, again, flipping the script from the first game.
They used a lot of tempo in that first drive. Now they've held up on the first couple of plays.
Donovan Johnson, another young man to keep your eye on, a 3-star recruit, 16 different offers that he's looking at. Arizona State, Arkansas, Houston, LSU among the schools that have offered him a scholarship as the handoff goes up the middle in the hands of Grant Robinson, and he fights his way to the 45.
Yeah, I'm liking that play call up the middle. As I stated earlier, really got to get north and south with Parish. You can't sit there and try to get the edge with them, especially if it's slow developing play. Everything comes down to execution.
The big Air Force signees coming up field, they're kind of taking advantage of that and running up underneath them, letting him get his pass rush in and just kind of just letting him take himself out of the play.
Blake Burris, big number 99, trying to stay away from him as much as they can. That ball falls incomplete. Is it a live football?
Ball.
Yes, it
That's
is.
a live ball.
Picked up by, and they're going to say it's incomplete. Picked up and run close to the end zone. He didn't quite get all the way there. Colby Blatnick scooped it up and went off running with it, but they're going to call it incomplete, in and out of the hands of Jerron Bradley. First time we're calling his name today. Figure we'll call it quite a bit. 4-star recruit with several scholarship offers. Texas Tech, Purdue, Arizona State, Arkansas among the group. 6'5" and 200 pounds, 19 touchdowns this year. They're going to try and get him the football as much as they can. We'll see if they can do so here on 3rd down and 4. James, straight drop, fires over the middle, and it falls incomplete, in and out of the hands of Donovan Johnson. And Parish's defense forces 4th down here.
Even though he didn't complete that pass, I have been impressed with Grayson James, the quarterback so far. He's been throwing well, throwing into the wind, making good decisions. Hopefully if his receivers can come up with a few more catches, they can continue to be successful.
Flag is down on the far side of the field as the Cardinals brought their punt unit onto the field.
Sideline warning?
It's going to be a sideline warning against Parish Episcopal. And is that going to give them a free first down here? Or is that just going to be a warning?
First one's
It's going to be a warning. Okay, never mind. So it doesn't cost them anything yardage-wise, but something to keep an eye on for the balance of the football game. 4:28 left to play here in the first quarter. High snap, but they're able to corral it, and the punt is away off the foot of Jerry DiCarlo. Fielded at the 24-yard line by Caleb Culp, and he fights his way to the 30-yard line.
That's not bad. Kicking into the wind and getting him tackled there at the 30. Not bad for JP. They caught a break there. I think Coach Novikov was still arguing about that backwards pass that they should have scored a touchdown on, and ref wanted him to back up, and that's when the flag came out.
It was borderline. It was close at the very least, but the officials decided it was a forward pass, and as a result, instead of 14-7 Parish, they take the football back after the punt at their own 30-yard line. Stone and company with an efficient drive going down the field on their first possession. First play of possession number 2. They hand it off to Christian Benson, and look at him dance away from trouble, and a big hit as he comes across the 35-yard line. Braxton Myers laying the wood to him.
Yeah, he tackled a little high there. I think some
people, I think it was Terrence Brooks.
Yeah, he tackled a little high there. I think some people thought he may have almost gotten a helmet, but no, he just put a good lick on him. Obviously, as a defensive coordinator, you want him to work on staying a little bit lower, but that was a great job staying home and really making a hit there.
Second down and A short 5 here for Preston Stone. He was 3 for 5 for 48 yards and a touchdown on his first drive of the game. Now a handoff once again for Corin Lynch, and he puts the ball on the deck. JP2 hopped on top of it. Did they recover? Yes, they did. Cardinal football at the 45.
You know, if you want to upset, if you want to pull a big upset, you've got to win the turnover battle. And right now it's 1-0 JP.
Number 13, Cam Robertson, the hero of the moment for John Paul II, coming up with that ball.
See if we can see who forced the fumble. You're right, Robertson came up with the loose football. I don't know if we can get another look at as JP2's offense comes out on the football field. 1st and 10 from the 45, and a big opportunity here for the Cardinals offense. A 4 wide receiver set, a pair of twins formations on the left and right, and that ball's thrown right back to Parish. The interception by the Panthers going the other way is Luke Bridges across the 40, inside the 35, and run out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Turnovers on consecutive plays, and Parish takes it back.
Man, that is just not what you wanted if you're JP2. Got a fumble, able to get some positive momentum going, and that deflates it a little bit.
Yeah, Coach Teague said he's okay, that Grayson sometimes will take some chances in some tight windows. That was a great little drop by 20 there, and got his hands out, was in the right spot, right technique, and we're tied at turnover battle, and Parish ends up with great field position at the 32.
1st and 10 once again here for Parish Episcopal. They definitely get the better of that exchange of turnovers as they start at the 32, and Stone's going to look end zone on the very first play of the drive. Leaping, nearly hauled in by Evan Green. Would have been a sensational catch. Gets up holding his chest a little bit, a little slow to get to his feet, and he'll head to the sideline and ask for a blow here.
Yeah, Larry, as you were saying earlier, they're willing to man up, have one safety over the top. You know, they're trying to get one-on-one with those defensive backs, and obviously Stone's got the arm to do it, so we'll see if they continue to attack them on the outside.
Tight coverage by the senior number 8, Cam Peters there, and we've seen that matchup. Looks like they're going to keep trying to go to it early in this game.
So 2nd and 10 for Stone. 3 wide receivers to the top of the formation. Going to hand it off on the counter, and Corin Lynch, Christian Benson with a lot of room inside the 10 and run out of bounds there. Benson with a nice start to the football game today for the Panthers.
Yeah, taking advantage of JP being young and excited and first time at this game. Big-time pursuit to the football. Stone moved left. The whole defense went left. They ran the counter back right. Good call.
So 1st and goal now for the Panthers. Ball sits on the 8. This is certainly the most common formation you'll see at a Parish Episcopal, a back to either side of Stone, but he's going to keep it himself here, trying to get to the outside. Strung out, breaks one tackle, still on his feet, trying to get to the corner, still on his feet, and finally bottled up at the 8-yard line. All of that for no gain.
Yeah, if I'm the coach for Parish Episcopal, I don't know if I probably just want him maybe to take a step out of bounds. Obviously, JP2 sitting there trying to tee off on him, as any defender would. You know, with Stone being as valuable as he is to this offense, you got to be careful. Take your chances when you can.
And we talked about number 5, the defensive end for John Paul, Kyle Taylor. He has not checked back into this game, and based on the way I've seen several people go over and chat with him, his day may be done.
Yeah, that's a huge loss for JP. They really needed him today.
2nd down and goal. Handoff up the middle. Corin Lynch has some room, steps over a tackler into the end zone. Touchdown.
Matt, I'm surprised that was a high snap. It threw the timing off on the play. I'm just always surprised how the timing on offense goes off, and it really impacts the defense more than it does the offense.
Absolutely, yeah, that was definitely huge for them. And, you know, as you said, with JP2 being a little bit younger, a little bit more excited, you know, they're going to have to settle down here in the rest of this game if they want to stay with it. Obviously, done decent so far, but they're going to have to dial in here and get some stops, especially against this very quick and very well-executed offense from Parish.
Extra point from Boyster up and through 14-7. Parish Episcopal with touchdowns on each of their first 2 possessions today. JP2 had an opportunity there in the on the first drive to get a stop. I believe it was a 3rd and 11 that Parish scored their touchdown on. But Stone hit Christian Benson on the screen pass, and he had a lot of room up this near sideline and found his way into the end zone. And now a short field for Preston Stone and company after the interception. Only had to go 32 yards for the touchdown, and they do so in short order. 1:41 on the clock, first quarter, and Parish with their first lead of the football game, 14-7.
Yeah, this is where JP has to answer now and at least run enough clock off to get the win so Grayson can have it at his back to make those throws. But they got the stop, but, man, it hurts when you give the ball right back to the other team.
You talked about the chess match earlier, Coach. They came out and ran a lot of no huddle on that first possession. Second one, a different story. What do you expect to see here on their third attempt?
I think they're going to continue to slow it down until they can get the win.
They've got 1:41 left until that point.
I think we'll see him probably come out with a run or maybe a quick play action. Obviously get Parish on their heels and allow James a little bit more time and a little less yardage to be able to get a conversion into a new set of downs in the second quarter.
Boister kicking with the win for the third time today, and yet again puts it through the end zone.
Yeah, with the way this wind is going, it's pretty much, I wouldn't say wasted play on kickoffs, but he's going deep. He's hitting out of the back end zone, so it's like, well, let's just kind of patty cake and head back to the sidelines.
Yeah, Matt, I'm a little surprised that they're not taking advantage of just popping it up and at least seeing if JP can field it with the wind. They're just kind of conceding, hey, you can have the ball in 25. It's all yours.
And that is where Grayson James and company will take over. A back to either side, handoff up the left side. Spinning his way across the 30-yard line is Carson Collins.
JP's winning some battles up front. That was a pretty big hole on the left side right there. They're doing some really, really nice things to move this Parish defensive line out of the way.
Yeah, there are quite a few combo blocks up front. Obviously, against a 3-4, you kind of have to, especially depending on, which side you're running off of. But, yeah, they're executing well up front.
Second down and 3 as we tick close to a minute to play here in the first quarter. Grant Robinson with the carry.
That's number 41, Andrew Merrick with initial contact for the Panthers.
Pickup of 2 for Robinson.
Third and short. What do you think the guys are going to do? You think they're going to run? You think they're going to do a short pass? Obviously with James after throwing that interception on the first play of the last drive. I'll be interested to see what Coach T comes up with here.
Matt, I think you hit it right on the head. There's nothing for him outside. It's everything underneath the tackle so far.
Third down and about 1.5 yards out of shotgun with James. Handoff. Nowhere to go. Stacked up by Blake Burris and thrown back.
That was an excellent play. Little pre-motion movement from the defense, starting out in a 3-4, and then they walk down a linebacker for that front four for the Panthers. I don't know if that confused John Paul II up front or not, but it was a good guess, and they played it well.
Yeah, this is great clock management by Parish.
Call timeout.
Yeah, make JP punt into the wind so they'll get field position to start the second quarter.
Very, very smart play from Daniel Novikov, the head coach for Parish Episcopal, to call timeout here. It's a brilliant ploy.
They ran right at 99 that time, and I think I'm with you, Matt, probably running the other way.
You don't want to run at 6'5", 265?
He might play as a freshman for Coach Calhoun. He's going to that's a big kid, even for the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he was 5'5", 265, I'd run at him, but not 6'5", 265. He's a heck of an athlete down on that defensive line.
If he were 5'5", 265, he'd be a bowling ball.
I wonder what is it'd be interesting to find out what his job, what Air Force sees him, not on the field, but what his service will be. He couldn't go to Navy, too big. Army, he could ride a tank, but curious to see what he's going to do at Air Force.
I think he is the tank.
That's Chad Henning size.
They fake it. Faked up the middle. Did he get the first down? It's very close. It's going to depend on the spot.
It does not.
JP2 thinks that they have it. Parish, of course, thinks they don't. They have to get right to the 25. It was a touchback, so it's very easy to tell They're going to bring the sticks out, but Parish Episcopal celebrating on their side of the field. They think it's short.
Yeah, there's no point bringing the sticks out. They're short of the 35.
Just the eyeball test. It didn't look to me like they made it.
George Teague trying to make Coach Novikov pay for the decision call on the timeout, and it looks like they're going to be just barely short.
And that's a, I would say not a terrible decision by Coach Teague. I think it's obviously a chance you've got to take, but it's a high-risk chance, though.
They stretch out the chain. Turnover on downs. Parish Episcopal football at the 35.
That's 2 inches maybe.
Yeah.
When you're the underdog, you got to take chances sometimes. Nobody expected them to be here.
Yeah,
Big gamble.
For sure. That's why they call it game of inches.
Yeah, there's 11 seconds left, so maybe Parish can get 21 on in the first quarter.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to attack on the outside again, especially if John Paul II is going to stick with their man defense so far, and that's what they're lining up to do.
The interception by Luke Bridges gave Preston Stone and the Panthers offense the ball at the 32. This fake punt gives him the ball at the 35, and they'll swing it out on the left-hand side for Benson once again. He's had an outstanding first quarter, and he continues that as he steps out of bounds at the 21.
Benson is just making it look easy right now for the Panther offense.
3 seconds remain on the clock as he stepped out of bounds.
Gabe, what's that say to you that they went for it? Does that mean they've got, after seeing the first 3 drives from Parish, not a lot of confidence in the defense right now? Do anything you can not to give them the ball?
Yeah, I think they just hope to catch him sleeping, and it was a good moment to do it, try and counter that smart timeout, and they felt just 2 inches short.
5 wides for Stone on the final play of the first quarter. Throws it into the end zone. Tipped. The flag flies at the front end of the play.
Great coverage there, but we got JP offsides.
Oh, man, that just hurts because would that give him one untimed down here?
It should.
It will, yeah.
It isn't
5 yards closer, too.
An offsides against JP2's defense. So 1st and 5 now from the 16-yard line. And one last shot here in the first quarter for Preston Stone and company.
I am pretty surprised, though, not surprised, but I'm pretty impressed with the play by these defensive backs of JP2. They've done well, attacking the balls in coverage, really staying on their receivers. If they can continue to do that, they'll make it a little bit harder, but JP2 has got to do something about stopping this Parish run game for sure.
The Cardinals coaching staff feels that all 5 of their defensive backs in this 4-2-5 scheme are college-level players. They've got a challenge, though, today dealing with Preston Stone and company. Final play on the untimed down here in the first quarter, and it's incomplete. And that's how the first quarter will come to a close. Parish Episcopal with a 14-7 lead in the TAPS Division I state championship game. Second quarter, right after the break here on TAPS TV. Second and 5 for Parish Episcopal to start off quarter number 2 here from Panther Stadium in Waco. TAPS Division I state championship game between the 11-1 Parish Episcopal Panthers and the 10-3 John Paul II Cardinals. 2 teams out of the same district. Division I District 2, the Dallas area district, has dominated this particular division of TAPS football for several years, and that continues this year as Corin Lynch gets the handoff on 2nd and 5. Ball's on the deck again. Parish jumps on top of it. So that's going to go down as a loss of a couple yards, and it's going to be 3rd and 7.
Man, that was a great play by JP2. They tattooed him on that play. Excellent job by the Cardinals. Couldn't jump on it, unfortunately, but I think if you hold Parish to a field goal, and especially a field goal into this win, I think that's a pretty good achievement there by the Cardinals.
You mentioned the district up in North Texas is given the moniker the District of Doom, although these are not the usual suspects in the state final from that district. So it's an exciting change of events here in the state final.
Earlier this year, I was saying that 4 of the 5 teams in the district are state title contenders. Now all 5 are, as JP2 has made it to that level. As 3rd and 7, they convert in the hands of Caleb Culp inside the 10-yard line. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 7, and it'll be 1st and goal. All 5 teams out of this district, Bishop Lynch and Bishop Dunn, who played for a title last year, Prestonwood, and these 2 teams on the field right now, JP2 and Parish Episcopal, all teams that are capable of playing for and perhaps winning state championships. We haven't seen JP2 do that, but there's nothing saying they can over the course of the next almost 3 quarters worth of action. They trail 14-7, though, right now, and they're trying to keep Preston Stone and company out of the end zone on 1st and goal. Handoff. Benson again. Nice cut up field. Touchdown again for Christian Benson, his 2nd of the day. A fantastic start.
And he went virtually untouched into the end zone there up until it was way too late on the goal line. Great run by the Panther running back.
Yeah, that's the trade-off when you want to play man coverage. You're going to give up some passing stuff, but you're susceptible to the run. And right now, Parish is doing just about anything they want on the ground with their running backs.
Yeah, Alejandro Garcia, number 50, the offensive tackle, left offensive tackle for Parish, had a great seal block there on the defensive end.
Boyster on for his 3rd PAT of the game, this time into the wind, puts it up and through. And it's a 21-7 lead for the heavily favored Parish Episcopal Panthers. They've started to get rolling here now, 21 straight points for Parish. And JP2 trying to figure out how they find an answer now.
They definitely need to answer. This can get away from them pretty quick. This is a pretty crucial stretch in the game. I think, did Parish kick off to start the game?
JP2 did receive the opening kickoff, so it'll be Parish ball to start the second half.
I think if I was Coach Teague here on this next offensive drive, I would probably try to go to some tempo, especially if I can get some positive yards, because allowing Parish to kind of set up, allowing them to really dial up some good defensive play calls, I think that's going to hurt them. So I'll be interested to see if they go back to the tempo here after this kickoff return.
We have a helicopter flying in overhead, and one can't help but wonder, is that the head coach of SMU football, Sonny Dykes, flying his way over our head? There was an expectation he would be here today to see Preston Stone, the quarterback from Parish Episcopal.
No, actually, they're just coming to pick me up. I've got to go do some grocery shopping. So,
Wynn knocks the football off the tee once again. It has been whipping all weekend here at Panther Stadium. All 6 of the 6-man state title-worthy teams yesterday were dealing with an awful lot of wind. Today it may not be quite as strong, but it's still whipping pretty good. And yet again, Boister's got to have them hold the football on the tee.
You think Coach Dykes wanted Preston Stone to know he was here with that little flyby there?
Little subtle messages sent in the recruiting game. Boister for the first time kicking into the wind, and look at a difference that makes. Falls dead at the 30-yard line, and they call for and make the fair catch.
It surprised me a little bit that JP had their deep guy with his heels on the 8. Nobody's kicking it that far in this wind today.
Not even a little bit. Carson Collins made the fair catch, and now he'll come out on the field and try to run the football a little bit for this Cardinals offense as they've fallen into a 21-7 hole. Still tons of time, of course, left in this football game, 11-14 in the second quarter, so all options are certainly still on the table for JP2 and their offensive coordinator, Rusty Oglesby. But they need to find an answer here on 1st and 10. They throw it on the near side and wide open.
Oh, my goodness.
If he can beat him to the goal line, it's a touchdown for the Cardinals, and he will. Easily into the end zone goes Shunte Nettles, and a lightning strike from JP2.
That huge play right there. Huge play.
You notice prior to snap, Parish was trying to get lined up right. Both corners are running to each side of the field, and then the corner that got there late, he was still there before the ball was snapped, had the blown coverage.
Yeah, that's the one problem you have sometimes when you try to match up corners depending on where somebody lines up. Obviously, some defensive schemes call for corners to stay on their side of the field. But, yeah, that's the risk you run sometimes when you man up people.
Shunte Nettles, 70 yards on the touchdown reception from Grayson James, and 11 seconds after Christian Benson scored to make it 21-7. JP2 finds the answer. We were talking about how much they needed it to be very quickly found. They've got it, and it's 21-14.
The junior quarterback from JP, he saw that helicopter also. Hey, Coach Dykes, I'm here too. I'm here too.
Cardinals coaching staff believes that James is potentially an FBS-level recruit, certainly at least an FCS-level recruit. They've got college kids all over this roster, and young ones at that. That's really been the story for JP2 over the course of this season. They knew they had talent coming into the year. They needed to develop that confidence. They knew they had players like Jerron Bradley and Grayson James and Carson Collins, Shunte Nettles, who just made the big touchdown reception there, Donovan Johnson, a 3-star quality tight end with big-time offers all around the country. They knew that they had talent. The confidence had to come with. That came with that big 11 overtime win against the defending state champion Bishop Dunn. That came by beating Prestonwood in district play. And he said then they turned around and won a playoff game, and they're like, oh, wow, we've won a playoff game? We won 2 district games? How good can we really be? And they went out and shocked everybody by beating Nolan Catholic in the second round of the playoffs, and now they're trying to shock everybody once again as Caleb Culp makes a nice kickoff return here out across the 30-yard line to the 32. And that's where Preston Stone and company will get back to work. But certainly just an amazing season from John Paul II. And they're just trying to put a bow on it today here in the state title game.
Matt, outside of campus, if you weren't on the JP campus, is anybody picking them to even be in this game?
I don't think so. I think, obviously it was, as Gabe said earlier, it's kind of district of doom over the last couple of years, with teams like Lynch and Dunn. Even Nola Catholic kind of sneaking up there. This is very much a surprise, but, nobody inside of Plano, JP2, was saying, hey, we can't get this done. Why not us? Why not now?
They set up the screen once again for Christian Benson, and again he's got a ton of room across midfield inside the 45 before he's finally corralled. The screen has been effective so far today for Parish Episcopal.
It's feeding off JP's energy. Defense flying upfield again. I know Coach Teague's telling them to stay home when they come off, but they're excited. They just scored. Incredible play call by Parish again, taking advantage of JP2's energy.
Christian Benson now already in excess of 100 yards from scrimmage, rushing and passing combined. He's got a rushing score and a receiving score.
Yeah, he's trying to be that why not now that Matt just mentioned here for Parish. Pouring it on here early in the game.
10:24 second quarter as Preston Stone swings it on the right-hand side to Benson. He slipped down at the 47-yard line, and that's going to be a loss of 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, that looked like a positive play to start out with because he made a good move, shook the defender out of his shoes, but, he lost his shoes as well and wasn't able to finish.
He keeps his feet. He's probably in the end zone. That was a beautiful move.
Instead, it's 2nd down and 15.
Once again, as we said, these skill players for Parish are the ones who are making the difference here. Obviously, Stone, great arm, great mind, but you got to have the guys to do it, and they're executing well right now. So let's see if they can, clean up that last little slip and see if they can put it in the end zone here.
He's got 5 wide receivers on 2nd and 15. He's going to keep it on the quarterback draw. He's got the corner. He's got blockers out in front, and he's close to the sticks. You mentioned he's got a great arm and a great mind, great feet as well. The way his head coach, Daniel Novikov, describes him is to call him Johnny Manziel, but with Peyton Manning's processing ability. I'm not sure you can give a quarterback a higher compliment than that, and we're seeing a little bit of that over the course of today. He does everything for this offense. Novikov says he could be valedictorian if he had the time to apply himself to just academics, but he does obviously a lot of things with this football program and trying to be a high-level Division I quarterback. So he's a little bit of, it's a little bit of a time commitment, needless to say. 3rd down and 2, and they give it to Corin Lynch up the middle, and he's close to the 1st down.
He is everything everything advertised. He is a great quarterback. When they played Cedar Hill, one of the most impressive throws, it was an incompletion, but he scrambled 20 yards to his right, and right before he went out of bounds, he put it right on the kid's hands in the end zone against a very good Cedar Hill team. He's just fun to watch.
They mark him short. It's 4th down and less than a yard. Stone's going to be in shotgun. 2 running backs in the backfield with him. He hands it off to Lynch up the middle, bowls his way forward, 1st down.
I think that was definitely a great idea there to go for it. Obviously, 4-down territory right here. Obviously, the wind going opposite of the way you are, so I think that was a smart move by Parish to keep the ball rolling, because if they can keep the pressure on JP2, they're going to keep the upper hand.
1st and 10 at the 31 now after Karin Lynch lowered his shoulder. 8:33 and moving, second quarter here from the TAPS Division I State Championship game. Panther Stadium in Waco. Mike Leslie, Matt Tarbutton, Gabe Duarte, and Larry Thexton here with you, as this time they defend it very well. Lynch with nowhere to go. Knife it across to make the play is Brandon Tucker, leading tackler on this football team. Made a big one right there.
You always coach your linebackers to fill the gap, especially depending on what screen you have or what scheme you have. And he did a great job there filling that gap and making a great open field tackle.
Look for a quarterback run here. They're 5 wide.
2nd and 12.
That's a false start.
And that's going to be a false start. It's going to become 2nd and 17. Preston Stone talking to his offensive line, kind of just tamping everything down. Just, hey, relax, everything's fine. They are still leading this football game by a touchdown. They're still, on JP2's side of the field, but the last couple of plays have been less than efficient.
I wouldn't be surprised, especially with JP2's energy on defense. If they're trying to hard count it there, that may have been the issue there. Jumped a little bit too early for Parish, but we'll see.
2nd down and call it 16. Stone looking deep down the right sideline. He's got a man in single coverage. Flag flies in at the end of the play.
I think that's probably going to be a defensive pass interference call from where the flag was thrown.
Braxton Myers, number 23, was covering for the Cardinals.
JP2 saying
Parish.
It's against Parish.
That's what they call.
And it is indeed, according to our official, Leighton Smith. Penalty is declined by JP2, so it'll be 3rd down and 16.
He must have got his arm out. He must have pushed his arm out late to try to get some separation there at the how to make a play on that ball. But that's good coverage there. That's a heck of a throw into the wind by Stone.
Coach Thexton, would you have declined that penalty, or would you have taken it?
7, we would have declined that.
Okay.
You don't want to give Stone extra opportunities.
He's got one opportunity here on 3rd and 16. And now he's going to call timeout.
Well, maybe that's Coach Dykes. There's several helicopters making their way around.
Every coach in America is coming here to Panther Stadium to see these guys play. I mean, heck, every coach in America pretty much has offered Preston Stone a scholarship, so why not?
Yeah, that definitely puts my GMC UConn to shame, that's for sure.
Shout out to our crew, the Midway ISD AV program, Caleb Overstreet and Tanya Lacey running the show over there for us and bringing you all the pictures here on TAPS TV, getting a shot of the helicopter as it goes overhead. Well done, guys.
Yeah, they've done a phenomenal job throughout the first day and a half. I've been very impressed with their camera work through now 3.5 games almost. Great job here at Midway.
They are a big part of why we're able to bring you these state championship games from Panther Stadium. And we've seen 3 really good ones so far over the course of Thursday and a quarter and a half worth of a good football game here. As Parish Episcopal leads 21-14, 7:31 in the second quarter, and out of the timeout, here comes Stone dancing around in the backfield, and he trips down at the 45. He's going to lose yardage even more so, and it's going to be 4th and a mile.
Caught a break there. There was some room up the middle. He saw it late. JP caught a break. Now they're punting into the wind. Chance of a field position and still plenty of time on the clock to tie this game up. Matt, we're going to say tie this game up. Can you believe that? They got a chance to tie this game up.
That is huge. I mean, especially for JP2. I don't think he could have drawn it up any better for them right now. I mean, obviously with that, quick interception they threw and not converting on that punt, fake punt, that if you're George Teague, you got some confidence going into the second half if you can score here.
Fair catch called for and made just inside the 20-yard line by JP2. Shuntain Nettles making the grab, and with 6:42 on the clock, second quarter, as we've still got helicopters circling. Now I'm wondering if they're looking for one of us. This isn't a coach. This is the FBI coming for us, guys.
Helicam brought to you by Taps TV here.
Parish Episcopal has to punt it away, and here comes JP2's offense. Grayson James in shotgun, 3 wides to the top of the formation on 1st and 10 from his own 18-yard line. Looking on the far side, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Donovan Johnson. Couldn't make the diving grab.
I think the biggest thing here for JP2 is you've got to get some yardage. Even if you don't score, you need to flip the field on Preston Stone. You cannot allow him and that Panther offense a short field, especially with a little over 5 minutes left to go. You can't give them life, especially when you're going to give them the ball back in the second half.
Yeah, they got to be really careful here because it could set up a double possession situation for Parish, and that could hurt them big time.
6:37 on the ticker right now as they run it up the middle in the hands of Carson Collins. He'll get a little more than half of the requisite yardage, and it'll be 3rd down and 4.
One thing I like with the play calling from JP2 is they are setting themselves up for success on 3rd down. They're getting themselves to 3rd and manageable, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, not putting themselves in a 3rd and 10 or longer situation.
Very even game so far. 10 first downs for Parish Episcopal, 6 for JP2, but yardage-wise, 179 for Parish, 174 for the Cardinals offense. They need 4, though, here on 3rd down. James looking left, into traffic, tipped, and it falls incomplete. There was a lot of bodies over there as he tried to find Shuntain Nettles, and they'll have to punt it away.
I'm not sure if that was the right. He tried to fit it in a really tight window, and it looked at Parish had that one covered up really, really well. At least they've got the win. Maybe he can get some field position switched over here.
Jerry DiCarlo out to punt. Caleb Culp and Christian Benson back
first down,
deep to
JP.
receive.
Did they throw the flag, though?
Yes, they did. They threw the flag. Parish.
Oh, they did. Okay, there's a flag on the far side. Yes, indeed. And if that is indeed against the Parish punt return team, it's going to be enough for a first down.
Yeah, I knew they went off sides, but didn't see the flag. But
yeah, the official said,
there it is.
Do not move those sticks.
It's kind of disguised in the 30-yard line, but it will be, courtesy of Leighton Smith and the officiating crew, a first down for this JP2 offense.
And that's a big mistake. The Cardinal defense had been on the field for quite a bit. They finally got a break, and now Parish wipes out a 3-and-out with that penalty.
It was 4th and 4. It's now 1st and 10. Cardinals keep the football in a crucial mistake by Parish Episcopal.
Yeah, you don't want to make those type of mistakes in the state championship ball game. Anytime you can force another offense to get off the field, you want them to do that.
Well, JP caught a break here. Let's see what they can do with it. Still plenty of time for Parish to get him off the field and get the ball back. And
wonder if they go for a quick strike here on this play.
James has got 4 wide receivers, brings Jerron Bradley in motion across the formation, and they're going to hit him. Spins his way across the 35, makes another man miss, and gets close to first down yardage. Maybe just a hair shy. They have not been able to get him the football a whole lot so far today through a quarter and a half. He is their biggest target. He is their best player, and they haven't really been able to utilize him much. Despite that, they're only down 7 here midway through the second quarter, but they need to get number 9 the football some more.
Yeah, it was a good play by design. They motioned him, and then brought him in behind the line of scrimmage. It was a good play to get him the ball and get him some confidence and get him going.
And they do give him enough for the first down. First and 10 at the 39, and James has got two wide receivers stacked to either side, but he hands it off to Carson Collins on the left side. Gain of 2 on the play.
Number 21, Keegan Addison with the stop there for the Panthers.
Good job by the Panthers to get a little bit of a stop there. You know, JP2 has had that 4 yards or so on most of their runs, it seemed like, especially up the middle. But they were able to limit them to about 2-yard gain there. So that was a good job by the Parish defense.
Keegan Addison, only a sophomore, making the play right there. Started for this team as a freshman as well. Really hard hitter. Over the middle, they find Donovan Johnson.
Another flag on the field.
Flag down back at the 38-yard line.
It's going to be on. Looks like it was holding who threw it and where the flag's at.
But I like what JP2 is doing, getting a lot of those crossing routes in front, trying to dump it off, let the receivers go to work.
It is indeed a hold against JP2, and that'll turn what was second down and 8 into second and 18. 4:17 on the clock here, second quarter. Ball moved back to the 31-yard line.
You know, it's those holding calls that keep you up at night. It was a quick throw. You didn't have to pass protect for that long, and then you get a holding call.
Those are the kinds of things that are just maddening.
Mm-hmm.
So second down and 18. They've got to get to the 49-yard line on their own side of the field. James rolling to the near side, throws that way, but wide of his target. Flag comes in from behind the play.
Wonder what the call's going to be here.
It was the side judge who threw the flag. I haven't seen what he's trying to signal here to our crew chief, Leighton Smith.
I think we've got a defensive holding.
That's exactly what it is, and it's going to give them a free first down. That turns second and 18 into first and 10.
Wow. And once again, another penalty is moving the sticks for the Cardinals, a penalty that goes against the Panthers of Parish.
You know, Coach Teague said Tuesday, we cannot self-implode with penalties, and right now the biggest penalties in this game have been on Parish.
They'll readjust the sticks here with 3:57 on the clock in the second quarter. First and 10 now from the 41-yard line. And James will be in shotgun with two wide receivers to the bottom of the formation, sends Miles Parker in motion to the left. Handoff up the middle in the hands of Grant Robinson, and he's spun down after a gain of 2.
Parish doing a lot better job stopping the run up in the middle now.
Yeah, JP2 was moving some bodies early on in the football game. They haven't been able to do that quite as effectively the last couple possessions.
Well, and I think the biggest thing with JP2 right now, a lot of their runs earlier in the game were out of the shotgun formation. Now they're more in the pistol, and so I think Parish is able to set up a little bit more and be able to recognize a little bit more. So let's see if they go back to some shotgun running if they can.
A back to either side of Grayson James here on second down and 8. Play action. Pressure in his face, tries to dance away, and he's tripped up. A nice play by Josue Munoz. Just got enough of his ankle to knock him down. And it's going to be third and long.
This was a situation they did not want to be in. 3rd and 14. Tough call here. But he does have the wind. If he can get somebody, one of his big receivers, vertical, maybe get a one-on-one matchup, he's got the arm to make that throw.
2:43 on the clock here, second quarter. Parish with only one timeout left if you're starting to think about them getting the football back here. They've got to make a stop on 3rd and 14 first for any of that to matter, and JP2 is going to call timeout with 5 seconds left on the play clock and talk over what they want to do here on 3rd and 14.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good idea to take a timeout here, talk over what you want to do. Obviously, 3rd and 15 has probably been one of the longer to go that they've had, so they really need to get this one right if they can.
You guys got a fun fact that I learned Tuesday, and tell me in all your years of football if you've ever heard of this. The OC for JP2, former high school head soccer coach.
Yeah, it still is the head soccer coach.
Okay, still is the head soccer coach. I've never met anybody in that combination, and it's just really, really neat. If you're listening to this broadcast, Tattoo, hey, you can still do some football.
Yeah, Coach Teague said he was kind of surprised by it when he was hiring Rusty Oglesby to be the offensive coordinator, to be an assistant coach on the staff in the first place, but even before he took over as OC, because he had only known him previously as a soccer coach. And then he looked at his resume and saw the football experience he had on the resume as well. And he said, you know what, come coach with me. And he took over the play calling duties last year in the playoffs. He's been the offensive coordinator ever since, and he's trying to dial something up here on 3rd down and 16, and that did not go the way they wanted it to. Seemed like some miscommunication all over the field. JP2's offensive line is looking at the officials with their palms to the air, wondering why a flag wasn't thrown. There was some oddities to that snap, and it looked like maybe somebody had jumped. I'm not sure if it was offense or defense, but no flag flies, and as a result, it's 4th down, and they're going to have to punt it away.
Hard count, automatic throw there. They thought they had him. They thought they had him jumped, and it was going to be a free 5 yards, free play.
Well, it looks like Coach Dykes from SMU is going to get a chance to see Preston Stone. He's made his way in here, so see if we get to see him before the half goes.
Good punt with the win, knocks him all the way back to the 17-yard line, and well covered by JP2's punt coverage team.
That is an outstanding open field tackle there.
Mark Mazer downfield to make the play. And Stone and his offense will set up at the 23-yard line. Yes, indeed. Good spot by you, Matt Tarbutton. Sonny Dykes is in the building, standing down on the left-hand side next to the corner of the end zone and getting a chance to see what may be, potentially, at some point, one of the biggest recruits he ever brings in to that Mustang program. He certainly hopes that's going to be the case anyway. Stone's got a lot of offers to consider, but SMU is certainly one of them. And he's got 5 wide receivers to consider here on 1st and 10 as they start the drive. Steps up in the pocket, evades a tackler, gets the ball off, finds his man Evan Green, who cuts up field and picks up a few on the first play of the drive.
Now some excellent footwork from Stone on that play, able to move around in the pocket, sprint out, find his receiver. That was a great play there by the signal caller.
That's the kind of play that not many quarterbacks can make.
Not in high school. Not at all.
I think I can do it on Madden once in a while, but definitely not in my high school days.
4 wides for Stone. This time he throws to the back out of the backfield. It's Benson who bakes the tackle again, and he's across the 40 to the 45 and near midfield as he steps out of bounds. It's been a sensational first half for Christian Benson.
JP's got guys in position to make tackles there, and it's their inability to open field tackle those running backs from Parish that is really hurting them right now.
Ball to the 49, 1:58 on the clock here, second quarter. Only 1 timeout left for Parish, but plenty of time to go down the football field. They do get the ball to start the second half as well, so as you guys had mentioned earlier, trying to create a double possession here. Stone with all day now has some pressure in his face and has to throw it away on the near side.
And credit the coverage for the Cardinals there. They've done a good job. The safeties and the backs have done a good job with downfield coverage. It's really the running game of those short passes out in the flat that have cut up the Cardinals. But they're doing a good job downfield in this first half.
Yeah, jumped into some zone. Coach Ferris is doing a good job right now trying to mess it up just to give Stone some different looks.
I mentioned it earlier, they feel like they've got 5 different players in that 4-2-5 secondary that are going to play college football. 3 of them they feel, at least 3 of them they feel are FBS level prospects, including Terrence Brooks, the strong safety whose father played in the NFL. Stone stepping up in the pocket, evades the pressure, across midfield now and inside the 45, out of bounds, first down, right at the 39-yard line. Preston Stone doing it with his legs once again.
Gabe, that was great coverage again by JP. Stone had nowhere to go except run the ball.
And to your point, a couple of bad tackles there that got him some extra yards. Of course, Stone's legs had a little something to say about that.
Yeah, the one impressive thing for me is how Parish is able to evade these one-on-one tackles. They're doing a great job because they're forcing JP2 to play in the open field.
Stone tried to set up a screen. They read it well. He's got nowhere to go with the football. Now he's trying to run around and make something out of this play. He's going to fight his way back to the line of scrimmage and indeed beyond it. Strong play from Preston Stone. We've talked about his arm. We've talked about his legs. Showed off the strength there. That should have been, 4, 5, 6 yard loss. lowered his shoulder, got beyond the line of scrimmage, and made a positive play out of what was a very well-read screen by the JP2 defense.
Yeah, he's a great football player, Matt, but I agree that's another opportunity. Maybe his coaching staff would maybe like him to run out of bounds there.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good idea there too, because or even throw it away. Not put yourself in harm's way. Looks like they're going to take a timeout and kind of regroup. About 126, 125 left on the clock, so still quite a bit of time to operate, especially with the way some of these teams can move with tempo.
Yeah, that's an eternity for Preston Stone with this much field.
JP2 calling timeout, their first of the, well, I thought it was the first of the half. The scoreboard initially read 3. It dropped to 2 as they called timeout, and then they dropped it to 1 timeout remaining. So I think there's some confusion as to how many timeouts JP2 indeed has left in this half. But with 1:26 left on the clock, they shouldn't need more than the 1 that the scoreboard reads, you wouldn't think.
Yeah, they should have 1 because they took that one right before the 3rd and 15, I believe, on their last offensive
that
drive.
Makes sense.
So
Parish still with their 1 timeout that they began this drive with.
I'm kind of surprised they took the timeout there that early. They need time to run off this clock here. Stone didn't get out of bounds the previous play, did he? He was tackled on the field, so the clock was still running.
At the very least, they began to tackle him on the field. He may have stepped on the sideline as he was going down, but that would have certainly felt like a situation where they would have wound the clock. 1:26 is where it sits right now before 2nd down and 8, and Stone's got 5 wide receivers once again. Stone looking right-hand side, complete to Benson, and he's got room again. 1st down, Christian Benson dancing at the 20-yard line and run out of bounds at the 16. Christian Benson has been the best player on the football field in the first half.
Yeah, he's doing a great job catching the ball out in the open field, really staying low, keeping a low center of gravity, making some moves. He is a hard man to tackle today.
Yeah, Coach Teague was worried about his matchup with Parish's running backs. He said they are that good, and they are hard to bring down one-on-one.
5 wides again here for Stone. Looking deep on the near side of the field, overshot his man.
Took a hit.
He hasn't taken many today, but had some pressure in his face there as he tried to find an open man in the end zone. Caleb Culp, the intended receiver, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. Talk about these running backs from Parish Episcopal, Benson, Carr, Lynch, Caleb Culp. They will all spread out and play wide receiver for this team as well, and 2 of them out there in this 5 wide receiver set now on 2nd down and 10. Stone's going to keep it himself on the QB draw. Immediate decision, get into the corner, touchdown, Preston Stone. He was in the moment he made the move toward the end zone.
Great decision by Stone there. He saw it immediately develop, and it was nice and open to his left, and he took it.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge play there from Parish's offense to be able to go in, execute. You only leave JP about a little bit more than a minute on the clock. So, I think they're hoping their defense can step up as they have been doing the last couple drives to be able to kind of give them this, 2-possession lead, and then they get another possession there at the beginning of the second half.
Another really nice call by Parish. JP put Stone on the ground the previous play, and those ends came flying upfield again, and Stone just juked and ran right by him. Nice play call.
Reed Boister 4 for 4 on the day on PATs, and with 1:05 on the clock, 2nd quarter, they've opened up a 2-score lead once again, 28-14 Parish Episcopal. 11-1 on the year and gunning for a state championship.
See if JP defends this kickoff a little bit different this time, if they can get their guy up to where he can catch it, maybe do something with the ball. They've got the wind at their back, so they can take some shots at Bradley. They haven't ran him vertical and had Grayson just put it up there for him yet. This would be a great opportunity to take a shot, try to get this back to a 1-score game.
Takai Wade, the deep man, standing back at his own 8-yard line. The last kickoff we saw from Parish in this direction landed at the 30.
Correct.
Now they do have 2 returners further forward. A man standing at the 21, and Shunte Nettles is walking his way back toward where Wade is. They're now both back inside their own 10. Again, it's hard to imagine the football getting that deep. Boister's a good kicker, but the wind is just very strong right in his face.
It reminds you of Sunday night at the Cowboy game in New England.
And he does kick it short. Fair catch called for and made yet again at the 29-yard line. Carson Collins. It's worth noting, Carson Collins, their starting running back, is standing in that general vicinity, so they do have all areas covered with players who can make plays with the football, but it is a little surprising that they don't move everybody just a little bit closer and try and capitalize on these short kicks.
And you have to imagine the message to the Panther defense here as they're coming out is don't pick up any penalties. They really put the lid on John Paul's offense, but let him off the hook a couple of key moments during the last drive, and we'll see if they can maintain that defensive dominance here on this possession.
1:05 to play here in the first half, and they're going to hand it off to start the drive up the middle for Carson Collins, and it's well defended by the defensive front from Parish. Maybe a gain of a yard. Clock ticking down to 52 now. Again, Cardinals with just one timeout remaining. Carson's hustles off the field, and they'll go 5 wide receivers here on 2nd and 9.
Man, they wasted a lot of time.
Could have been a false start on the right tackle. It doesn't get spotted, and they throw it over the middle, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Miles Parker, and it'll be 3rd and 9. But, yes, a ton of time, Matt, going off the clock there before that second down snap, down to 33 seconds now here in the first half.
If they run the ball here, I would not be surprised if Parish calls a timeout. Give Stone,
why not?
Yeah, give Stone one more opportunity to make a throw into the end zone.
They'll go 5 wide receivers. I don't know why not throw it up to Jerron Bradley and try and get him more involved in this first half. He has not seen the football very much so far today. Credit to Parish's defense for creating that eventuality. They throw it incomplete just beyond Miles Parker. He had running room if they could have hit him, but they're not able to make the connection. And on 4th and 9, they're going to punt it away. 28 seconds on the clock. They don't run the football, which means Parish keeps that timeout, and they're going to get the football back. Now it'll be, thanks to the wind, probably deep in their own territory, but we've seen Preston Stone do crazier things. So,
and it looks like Parish, maybe trying to bring the pressure on this one. Maybe try to get a punt, block.
They bring 5. They don't get there. Punt is spiraling its way across the 40 and checks up backward.
That
down
snap
right at the 40.
That snap was a little high, too, to the punter. That could have been bad for JB2, but they were able to get it done.
Cole Record sending the snap a little high for Jerry DiCarlo, but DiCarlo able to grab it and send it away. And with 18 seconds on the clock here in the first half, Preston Stone and the Panthers offense comes back on the field for one last lick at it before the end of the half. 28-14 they lead right now. They will get the football to start the second half. So if they are able to do anything here with these 18 seconds, it would be rather debilitating for JP2. Cardinals defense needs to make a couple plays here and ensure that the halftime score is no larger than 28-14. Stone with the counter once again for Christian Benson. The handoff was bobbled a little bit, and that may have actually helped, and a flag is going to come in. That's going to negate everything that just happened for Parish Episcopal. I think it was Alejandro Garcia. Gave a little shove to Kevin Harris, a little 50-on-50 crime right there.
Yeah, he took exception to the fact that the John Paul defender was laying on his teammate there a little bit long in his view and gave him business.
I only saw the second half of that. I didn't see what you saw. I wonder if the officials maybe saw as much as you did. Generally tends to be that the second guy is the only one who gets seen, and that is what the officials indeed do call the unsportsmanlike conduct against Parish Episcopal.
You know, that's a shame. It's a 7-man crew, so they should be able to see it all. But it is. It's always the guy that retaliates.
Parish Episcopal has played very well. There have been some moments where poise has not been their strong suit in this first half, and they've allowed JP2 to make some plays. They've allowed JP2 to get some free yardage, some free first downs, and that's part of why this is as close a game as it is with 1 second left on the clock in the first half. They're trying to reset the clock to 11 seconds, and they have.
Looks like you're just going to take a knee and take it to halftime up 2 scores, and they'll get the ball back, start third quarter.
I think that's a good call.
If that's the case, one final snap here in the first half. They do bring some wide receivers out wide, one to either side. They'll hand it off to Corin Lynch, and before they can even get that snap off, some whistles.
JP2's taking their last time out. Obviously, you can't take them with them, but I think that's a good idea just to see what Parish might have done. And, I don't know if that's really going to change what Parish's play call is going to be, but I'll be interested to see if they maybe try to go to take a stab at it or just, run this clock out for the first half.
Yeah, well, he didn't take a knee, so they've got to have to defend this last snap.
After the timeout, it'll be 1st and 25. Well, the scoreboard says 1st and 25. I'm going to trust the technology down in the field, though. I don't know if you guys have noticed this over the course of the first half that y'all are sitting at home watching this football game. They have some pretty high-level down and distance markers here for the TAP State Championship games. They are synced together, the down marker and the first down marker. They are maybe y'all can explain the technology of this better than I can, Larry. I know you were involved in kind of getting this set up earlier today before the kickoff, but they know how far away they are from each other, and that's how the 19 is showing up at the 50-yard line, that it's first down and, beg your pardon, they're changing it now to second down and 19.
Yeah, it's a simple concept. It's just that shoots a laser, and it measures, and it tells you exactly what it is. I like it because I don't have to look at the scoreboard and wait for the clock operator to tell me what the distance is. You can see it instantly right there on the field.
So after all that, they will take a knee on second down and 19, and that will be the final snap of half number 1 here in the TAPS Division I State Championship game. Parish Episcopal heavily favored coming in, playing very well in that second quarter of play. 3 touchdowns on the board. 2 in each quarter. Christian Benson with 2 of them. Preston Stone with a rushing score and a passing score. And Parish Episcopal with a 28-14 lead over JP2 after one half of play. Fellas, obviously an impressive first half. What do you think of what we saw through the first 24 minutes of this football game?
Well, I think if you're JP2, you're happy you're still in the game. They're going to have to come out and get a stop in the third quarter, but he can still go in there. The coaching staff go in there. Guys, we got hope. We've played with them. We've been able to move the ball. We just need to get a couple stops. We forced Turner. Things have gone well for Coach Teague. They're down 14 to a team that is that beat them really solidly in the first time they played, and they've got a chance to come out in the second half and still get right back in this game. So we'll see. Parish, I like everything they're doing. Their offense coordinator is calling a great football game.
I think you're right. A stop on that first possession of the second half for JP2 will be rather imperative. You can't go down 35-14 to start the third quarter.
The 2 things for JP2. One, we noted the coverage downfield. So the offense for Parish has been rather productive, but it hasn't been downfield, and if they can keep that up, then it might keep them in this game. The other surprise to me is number 99, Blake Burris. JP2 has done a great job scheming away from him. We've only called his name, I think, 1 time so far in this game, so they're going to want to keep that up. And on the Parish side, they are mistakes away from this being another 14-point difference here. So if they can clean that up, then they've really got things going for them. So it should be an interesting second half.
Yeah, as you said, I think definitely watching, make sure they clean up what they, had a few mistakes, obviously a few offsides, a few unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, those things that can creep up, stall drives. You really want to make sure you're disciplined in this second half because even though it's a 14-point lead, anything can happen in that last 24 minutes of football.
28-14, our tally through one half of play. Parish Episcopal, the number 1 team in the state in Division I with a 14-point edge on upset-minded John Paul II. Second half action about 25 minutes away. We'll let you guys enjoy the halftime show here from Panther Stadium, and we'll come back and talk with you guys in a little bit here on TAPS TV.
The JV Cheerleader of the Week is Hope Brown. The Varsity Cheerleaders of the Week are Sam Hoffman and Melanie Gonzalez. gentlemen, presenting the award-winning Parish Rosette. The Rosette officers are Lieutenant Tony Buskin, Lieutenant Abby Schwartzman, First Lieutenant Emma Denhire, Lieutenant Eugene Lee, and your Captain, Lauren Chapel. Now, enjoy a traditional military routine to jump. Here they are, the Parish Rosettes. The Rosette managers are Miss Rachel London, Miss Maddie Anderson, and Mr. Adam Spencer. The directors of the Parish Rosettes are Mrs. Megan Bowen and Miss Taylor Gray.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'd also like to welcome the members of the Parish Episcopal Drumline who are here today. The members of the Panther Drumline is directed by Mr. Chris Burns and Miss Melissa Camp. Also playing from the stands today, we have the John Paul II Cardinal Band and Drumline. The Cardinal Band and Cardinal Drumline are under the direction of Michael Browning and Drum Major Hideki Romero Garza. Over to the John Paul II cheerleading squad. They are coached by Corey Gasky and Meredith Henry, as well as the John Paul II Spirit Boys, coached by Aaron Harper and Kelly Schuler.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Paul II High School proudly presents the regional, state, and national champion, Cardinal Bell. Bell social officers are Ella Penny and Grace McFadden, Kelly Heath, and head social officer Naomi Fox. The Cardinal Bell officers are Second Lieutenant Jenna Giammatteo, First Lieutenant Haley Gamboa, and the Captain Katie Rock. Cardinal Bell were directed by Mrs. Bethany Ralston and assisted by Miss Muriel Stevenson.
The Cardinal Bell of the Week is Carly Hochner. And now the Cardinal Bell should perform a traditional kick routine.
Gentlemen, give it up for your Cardinal Bell.
We hope you enjoyed the halftime show here from Panther Stadium. Now a couple interviews from our man Gabe Duarte. First up from JP2, they call him Deacon Jake.
Gabe Duarte here with Taps TV and radio. We are on the sidelines just moments before the game, and I've got a special guest with me. Introduce yourself for our audience, please.
Hey, good morning. I'm Deacon Jake Schrepfer, president of John Paul II High School in Plano, Texas. So excited to be here. We're a 9 through 12 co-ed high school, Catholic high school in Plano. We have about 700 students, and we are so thrilled to be here. It was just 3 years ago that our new coach and now athletic director and coach George Teague came on board, and he is just building an incredible football program. And overall, the sports this year, our junior varsity was undefeated for the first time, and this is our first time in the big dance here, so we're very excited to be here.
We're glad to have you. Best of luck to you today, sir.
Thank you so much.
Gabe Duarte here with Taps TV and radio. We are on the field just moments before kickoff, and we've got a special guest with us. Introduce yourself to our audience, please.
Dave Monaco, head of school at Parish Episcopal.
Tell us a little bit about Parish Episcopal.
Parish is a pre-K through 12 school. We serve 1,155 students across those 3 divisions. Our high school has about 440 students in it.
What's it like to be here today?
All the boys are excited. This is our 3rd state championship in the last 10 years with the 1st District 1. So we're excited to have the opportunity to be here. Thankful to TAP for putting on a great tournament for the school.
Great to have you. Good luck today.
We appreciate it. Thank you. You bet.
Back to you guys.
Back at Panther Stadium, halftime of the TAPS Division I State Championship game. Parish Episcopal with a 28-14 lead over the John Paul II Cardinals. Preston Stone with a touchdown run late in the second quarter to establish this 28-14 lead. He also had a touchdown pass to start the scoring for Parish. Hit Christian Benson on a 29-yard screen pass. Benson with a touchdown run as well in this first half. And Corin Lynch, the other touchdown today for the Panthers to put 28 on the board. JP2 started the scoring today. Grayson James to Miles Parker, a 36-yard touchdown pass, just 2 minutes and 45 seconds into this football game to take an early 7-0 lead. Their other touchdown today, a 70-yard strike from James to Shunte Nettles early on in the second quarter. And that's how we stand at 28-14 through one half of play. An impressive start to the game, certainly, gentlemen, from JP2. They just struggled a little bit to maintain what they did through the first quarter.
And Parish did a good job when JP2 got excited. Parish did a really, really good job of calling certain plays, certain situations to really deflate them and use their energy against them. It's almost a pick your poison situation. They said, hey, you're not going to let Preston Stone beat us with your arm. We're going to man cover, and if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us running the ball. And Parish has answered the challenge. They are doing a great job of running the ball. And doing exactly what JP2 is. We say this all the time: take what they give you, and they're giving you the run, and they're doing a great job with it.
Preston Stone, 10 of 17 for 141 yards and a touchdown through the air. But to your point, a lot of their damage has been on the ground. Preston Stone, Christian Benson, and Corin Lynch combining on the day to rush for 123 yards and 3 touchdowns through one half of play. That is what JP2 has tried to direct them toward, and Parish Episcopal has been all too happy to oblige them and run all over them.
Yeah, I think a lot of times as a coach, you really want to tell your kids, hey, we're not going to let the best player beat us. Obviously, with Parish, that's going to be Stone. And so I think Parish has said to him, hey, we're going to share the ball around, give it to our running backs, allow them to play how they know how to play, and they've done a great job there. I think with JP2 is you're going to have to take some chances here in the second half. Obviously, play consistent, play well. But the biggest thing is they're going to have to, I think, dial up a little bit more on defense, try to get a blitz here or there, try to disguise their coverages a little bit more, because if they continue to let Preston and this Parish offense, just give them time and give them the ability to operate, it's going to be tough to kind of, pull that gap back closer.
And speaking of not letting the other team's best player beat you, that's maybe what Parish Episcopal did best defensively in the first half, only allowing Jerron Bradley to catch one pass for 10 yards. They have certainly game planned for him, have tried to keep the ball away from him, and at least through 24 minutes it's worked.
Yeah, that last play that JP almost hit that pass up the seam, it looks like Parish is really well aware of where he's at. Not only are they have a corner over the top of him, they're rolling their safety over him too. So it's hard for Grayson to make a throw there because there's 2 guys in the vicinity everywhere he goes.
Just about 90 seconds left until we get the second half underway here on TAPS TV. It'll be Parish Episcopal football to start this third quarter after they scored late in the second quarter. They try and pair together a couple of touchdown possessions. Of course, there was an opportunity briefly for JP2 to try and respond. They weren't able to do anything with it, and Parish Episcopal knelt on the football to end the first half. But practically speaking, an opportunity for Parish Episcopal to pair together 2 touchdown drives, and if they're able to do that and open up a 35-14 lead, they would certainly feel well on their way. It's why this is such an important possession for JP2 defensively to try and finally get a stop.
At the beginning of the game, it felt like things were a lot more evenly matched than anybody anticipated, and then as the half went on, Parish really started to show that they were in control on both sides of the ball, and it's going to be real interesting to see how we begin this second half. That'll tell us a lot about John Paul's chances here in this state championship final.
I think what the Cardinals need to do more than anything else is figure out a way to stop Christian Benson. He has been sensational in this first half. We talk about the damage that Parish has done on the ground, and Benson has certainly been part of that. 5 carries, 48 yards, just shy of 10 yards a carry, and a touchdown run. But everything that they've done practically through the air has been via Christian Benson. Of their 10 completions today, 7 of them have gone to Benson for 113 yards and a touchdown. He's been very dangerous, whether it's coming out of the backfield, whether it's on screen passes, whether it's lining up in the slot position at wide receiver. He has been their most dangerous target in the passing game. Cardinals defense has to find a way to bottle him up.
Yeah, and I think the plan was Kyle Taylor was going to do a lot of that. Coach Teague talked over and over about him, and him going out early has really hurt this defense.
And speaking of Benson, here he comes on the kickoff return, brings it out to the 40-yard line, and it will be good starting field position for Preston Stone and company on the first possession of half number 2. Stone 10 of 17, 141 yards and a touchdown in the first half. 9 carries for 61 yards and a score. Mentioned Benson 5 for 48 and a touchdown, and Corin Lynch 6 carries, 14 yards and a touchdown. Mentioned Benson's receiving stats. Other than him, Caleb Culp 2 catches for 23 yards. Evan Green 1 catch for 5 yards. And they'll open up in a 4 wide receiver set and try and go counter once again with Benson working against the grain, and a nice defensive play, knifing across to make the stop.
Yeah, that was
Cooper Mayland.
Yeah, that was an excellent play there by the defense. Those kind of plays is what really kind of hurt them in the first half, so good adjustment there. Let's see if they can continue to force them to get into third and long situations rather than these third and manageable or, 1 or 2 play moving of the sticks.
Yeah, it was simple, Matt. He just stayed home. That was the message at halftime. Stay home. Stay in your gap. Do your job.
Beg your pardon, Lawrence Thiel making the tackle. 2nd down and 7 now. They'll go to the air here. Stone had all day. Now he's got pressure in his face, trying to direct traffic downfield. He's going to take off and run for it and step out of bounds at the 45.
That's great defense.
Picks up 2 on the play.
Thiel was in hot pursuit there for the Cardinals and ultimately forcing him out of bounds.
I think the Parish coaches talked about what we talked about at halftime, telling Stone, hey, let's not take so many shots there. Get the yardage you need. Obviously, he was able to get 2 or 3 yards, make something out of nothing, and get out of bounds. You don't want to be Superman. We got to have you for the whole game. So
3rd down and 5 here from 45. They've got to get right to the midfield stripe to pick up a first down, and Stone's going to have 5 wide receivers again.
And look for 23 here, or Stone running.
Benson in the slot on the near side. He goes to the far side. It's Caleb Culp, the other running back, who gets in there at slot wide receiver, and he's got the first down as he falls forward to the 48 on the far side of the field. And they move the sticks.
Matt, that's a nightmare when your running backs can run and catch like receivers all over the field.
Yeah, very, very much a Julian Edelman type. He's doing a great job getting open. Excellent job there by those running backs. As you said, it is a huge weapon if they can catch out of the backfield because, as we said earlier, they're trying to stop Preston Stone, and if they can stop him from running and throwing deep, he's got to do something. He's doing a great job.
Just broke the huddle with 12.
It's going to be an illegal substitution penalty here for the Parish offense. So right after they pick up the first down, it'll become 1st and 15.
And that's something that plagued them in the first half with those unnecessary penalties. Let's see if they can clean them up because, even though it hasn't hurt them too much in this first half, in the first half, but here in the second half, you really make sure you're dialed up, ready to go.
Ball marked back to the 46 on Parish's side of the field. Benson in motion. It's going to be Stone on the quarterback draw. He's got a lot of room right up the middle. Makes one man miss, and he's off to the races. Can he beat him to the pylon? Yes, sir. Touchdown, Preston Stone. 54 yards on the touchdown run, and Parish has opened it up.
Definitely showed the dual threat ability there on that play. That was huge. He got the snap, looked like he was going to throw for all of a second, and then just took off, made a man miss, and got to the end zone.
Matt, he keeps running the ball like that. Ken Niamatololo from Navy will be here. Army will be here. Coach Munkin and Air Force will be knocking. He is a gifted runner.
Number 26, Terrence Brooks, slow to get up there for John Paul. He is walking off on his own power. Took a little time, though. It looks like he'll be okay eventually.
34-14, Preston Stone with a 54-yard touchdown run. And Reed Boyster out for his 5th attempt at a PAT today to knock it up to a 21-point lead.
This is going to be a challenge now. It's a young team for JP2. The coaching staff's got to do a pretty good job here of selling that there's still something to play for, not just happy to be here. So they got to answer here and try to do everything they can to stay in this game.
Parish Episcopal has won a couple of state championships under their prior coaching staff. Daniel Novikov was the assistant coach and offensive coordinator under the previous tenure. This would be his first state championship if they're able to finish this off, as they've been kind of climbing their way back to being a state power. And this year has certainly been their biggest step into that realm. And it's hard to argue with the concept that they could be around for a little while because Preston Stone, only a junior. Christian Benson, who's been sensational today, only a junior. There's a lot of talent on this football team. Some sophomores and juniors that make an impact on this football team on the offensive line, on the defensive side of the ball. There's a lot of talent for Daniel Novikov, and they're up 35-14 right now here in the third quarter.
And that's good for TAPS. Both your state champion, your teams playing for state championship are bringing a lot of players back next year. That's a win-win for TAPS football.
Yeah, JP2 is even younger than Parish is. Quite a bit younger than I think just about every team in the state. Boyster with the kick with the wind through the end zone yet again. So now if you're JP2, how do you approach this situation? You very clearly need points. You need to find a stop or two at some point here in the second half to have any chance to really make a comeback. But the first thing you got to do here is try to regain some momentum in this football game.
For sure. I think what they're going to have to do on this this drive, is they're really going to have to move with some tempo, get some quick runs up the middle, stop trying to be fancy, get some throws across the middle, get some slant routes, get those guys moving.
James on 1st and 10 with all day, fires over the middle, and for the first time here in this second half, and only the second time today, Jerron Bradley on the receiving end. We talked about him off the top of the broadcast. He is their best player. They have bottled him up very well, Parish Episcopal's defense has. They're able to unlock him at least for a moment here early on in the third quarter. We'll see if they can do more of that through the balance of the football game.
So JP, again, ran him across the field, trying to use that as an opportunity to get him the ball. They just got to give Grayson some time, and his ability to roll out on that play brought the time in to make that throw.
So a fresh 1st and 10 from the 37 for James out of the pistol formation. Collins saddled behind him. Bradley in motion once again, and they're going to bring him on a stop route, and this time James is going to take off himself and duck down for a pickup of 5.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure probably during halftime they got a concerted effort, from the coaching staff to tell quarterback James, you've got to use your legs, open up the field a little bit more, get moving. Obviously this, 3-4 scheme that Parish is moving is trying to guard against the pass more, and obviously to kind of loosen them up, make them a little bit tighter and on their heels. I think getting James to move around is going to be a huge plus.
2nd and 5 now. 3 minutes gone by, third quarter, and the handoff to Collins up the middle. Darts his way to the 46.
That's a nice run. Answering your question a few minutes ago, there is no football play that's going to get them 21 points. They've got to just, next play, get a first down, and then that is just get them some confidence and then get them in the end zone. But they just got to keep thinking next play. I had an old AD that always encouraged us, next play mentality. Just worry about the next play, and good things will happen.
The Cardinals elected not to go tempo despite the success they had with it early. You have to imagine part of that is keeping Parish's offense off the field.
3rd down and 1. They need to convert here to keep Parish's offense off the field. Pressure in the backfield. Ball came loose. Parish Episcopal had the first chance at it. Did they end up scooping it up? Yes, they did. Panther football.
That was tough. That wasn't going to get the first down. He was tackled for loss in the backfield, and then he coughed it up. Tough play. He was trying to cut up underneath the pressure that was in the backfield already, and the ball came loose. That's tough.
I believe it was number 6, Rover Kenneth.
Yeah, Kenneth Borders came out of the pile with the football.
Yeah, that's just, as you were saying earlier, that's just not what you need if you're John Paul II. That's, self-inflicted wounds is one of the worst things that can hurt football teams, especially in this stage.
We have already seen them today give Parish Episcopal the football on the 32 after an interception returned by Luke Bridges, and the 35 after the fake punt failed by only about 2 inches. Now they give him the ball on the 44 after the fumble recovery. And here comes Christian Benson once again. This time they string him out and ride him out of bounds after a gain of 3. But far too frequently, JP2 has been giving Parish a short field.
You're absolutely correct on that. Making the best quarterback maybe in the state, one of the best in the country, that's the last thing you want to give him is a short field, and he's taken advantage of it all day today.
I also like the way that Parish's offensive coordinator is calling this game. A lot of times when coaches have really good quarterbacks, they want to sit here, do all these fancy plays, try to really draw them up to make their quarterback look good. All Parish is doing is eating away at those yardages, eating away.
Stone's going to take it himself again on the quarterback draw, takes a big hit.
I think the JP defense said, shame on me. First time, shame on me. Second time, shame on you. They weren't going to get beat a second time on that quarterback sneak.
Cam Robertson, who had the fumble recovery earlier today with the big hit on Stone. He does pick up a few on the play. It'll be 3rd and 3. For this to not get out of hand, JP2's got to have a stop here.
Yeah, got to get a stop here and maybe trick Parish into going for a long field goal with the wind at their back and maybe get a miss.
Pressure. Fires it on the near side into 2 potential receivers. Neither can grab it.
Great pressure there by JP.
Stone had multiple defenders right in his face and just kind of had to bail out. I think he was trying to throw the football away. Didn't get it out of bounds. They nearly were able to connect on it, but it falls incomplete. It'll be 4th and 3, and Stone staying on the football field looking to the sideline for a play.
Yeah, this is definitely 4-down territory. You got 3 yards to go, and with the way the the running backs and Stone has been able to play so far, I wouldn't say it's a huge gamble at all.
It would be a 55-yard field goal from here for Reed Boyster, and that's an awful lot of wind behind him, but that would take an awful big kick. Stone with pressure in his face again, stumbling down, does get the pass off, but throws it too tall over the head of Jai Moore, incomplete. And JP2 finally with a defensive stop.
That was an incomplete pass, but that may have been one of the most impressive throws. He's falling down to his right. He sidearms it, and he still gets enough loft on that ball that the kid almost had a chance to make a play on it. That was an incredible, incredible throw.
Matt, I think you were absolutely right. You know, the reason to go for it there is because your offense has had such an easy time moving the ball here lately. I do got to say, right before the half, I watched Boyster taking a crack at some 55-yarders right at the mark, and he hit 2 out of 3 of them with this wind.
It's a big, big leg that Boyster's got on him. And with that wind, it's not impossible. They elect to go for it, though, on that 4th and 3, and good pressure from JP2, and they finally get the stop. Now, with the wind, they find again their man Bradley over the middle. Again, they have to unlock him here in the second half.
Oh, for sure. And that was a great job there, too, to take a quick strike, obviously, after kind of a, deflating the 4th down non-conversion by Parish. So that was a great play call. Get some big yardage, see if you can continue to move the ball down the field.
1st and 10 at the 45 here for the Cardinals offense. James is going to keep it himself, but he's got nowhere to go. Falls down for a loss of 1.
It looked like they were trying to run some read option there, but there was a lot of penetration in A-gap. Parish did a good job of just blowing that up front before it could even get developed.
Yeah, it's hard to criticize the read in that circumstance for Grayson James because there really was no read to be made. He had there was a defender everywhere you look.
Correct.
So on 2nd and 11, they'll send 2 wides to the top of the formation. James with Collins and Robinson in the backfield with him. They'll both go out into the pass pattern as well, but he's going to look deep down the right side. Incomplete. A flag flies. It looked like he was getting held. And the back judge throws a flag.
Hey, I'm looking at the flags. They are blowing at 90 degrees. I mean, it's still a stiff wind, and that was a heck of a throw into that wind. I'm really impressed with Grayson James' arm strength.
Yeah, both of these quarterbacks can sling it. There's no throw that these guys can't make. The flag does indeed go against the Parish Episcopal defense. And that's going to bring the ball all the way down to the 31-yard line at a fresh 1st and 10 for Grayson James and company.
Was that the first vertical shot they've taken with him now?
It's the first one I can remember, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and once again, another Parish penalty has put John Paul II a chance to score.
Talk about confidence and how they need to build it. A touchdown here would go a long way toward that. They bring Bradley in motion again. James with room to run, tries to take off, and that was closed off very quickly. Colby Blatnick did a good job of siphoning it off, and only a pickup of maybe 2 for Grayson James. Looked like he had a lot more room than that when he started to take off, but it closed up quick. .543 and moving, 3rd quarter.
I don't know if anybody noticed so far, but I haven't seen the Air Force commit Burris on the field much for Parish in the second half.
And he's not out there right now in their 3-4 set. He was a terror in the first half. James being chased from behind, ball knocked out. Loose on the deck, will it get out of bounds? Only just barely diving for it was Noah Richards.
Yeah, the youngster's got to have a little bit of a clock in his head. Kind of lost track of that backside pursuit and took a little bit too long. And the kid running after him saw that ball out there and did a great strip, and they had a chance to recover that. What is that, Matt, a 20-yard loss?
Yeah, at least. That was not great for JP2. Thankfully, they were able to keep control, keep control of the football. But, man, that is not good at all because
he's down 21 trying to extend the play, but just throw it out of bounds and you save those 20 yards.
Yeah, because it's 3rd and 25 now. That's a huge, huge gain they have to get.
Ball was at the 29, sits at the 46 now, officially a loss of 17 that they have to overcome here on 3rd and 25. They try and set up the screen and nowhere for him to go. Big hit at the end of the play, but no flag. JP2's entire sideline feeling that hit was unnecessary as Keegan Anderson took out the intended receiver.
I think it was just good football. You're going to go in the middle, you're going to get hit. This Parish defense is, I've been really impressed with them. They are physical, and that linebacker did what he's coached up to do. It was a good football play.
Loud boos from the near side JP2 fans. They've got a pretty decent-sized student section just below us. Not happy with the fact that it will stay 4th and 25, and they'll have to punt the ball away after what was previously a promising possession.
Think either of these schools had school today? Is anybody in Plano and in Dallas? I mean, this is awesome. These students and parents, they really turned out today to support this game.
School? Classes? Nah.
It's football in Texas, baby. I mean, it's like, really?
It's a Friday. It's a 4-day school week, right? Nobody goes to class on Friday.
Absolutely.
And it's not too far of a drive for either team, so.
Neither of these student sections has had a seat the entire game.
Now, penalty against JP2. I believe it was a delay of game, and that's going to turn it into 4th and 30.
Punting into the wind again.
Yeah, as if they weren't having enough trouble trying to flip the field, make it 5 yards more difficult, and a very high snap. Nice job by the punter, Jerry DiCarlo, to go back and get it. And it does take a decent bounce down inside the 25. It'll fall dead at the 22.
Not bad kick with the wind situation. You saw the wind just take the snap and almost put it over his head.
Yeah, they've gotten lucky on a few special teams plays here, so great job and good little bounce there at the end.
But back comes Preston Stone and the ever-dangerous Panthers offense, already up 21 and looking to add to it. They'll take over at their own 22.
John Paul's defense has been called on a lot today. They've been on the field for a long time. And, this situation, this game's either about to be over with a successful drive by the Panthers or keep them in it.
Hand off to Benson.
Some great blocking there.
Nice job to string it out, though.
JP still playing hard. Watch out, though, for a counter now. They saw how quick that they pursued to the football over there on the left side. This would be a great time to get them to run hard to the football and come back the other way.
That's Kennedy McDowell, a freshman defensive end, making that play, stringing out Christian Benson and taking him down for a loss of 3. Talk about the youth of this JP2 team. It is everywhere across the roster.
Yeah, every time you say freshman, sophomore makes a play, I'm shaking my head because we've thought for a long time that John Paul is a sleeping giant in Plano, and they're here now, and they're just going to continue to get better.
They have arrived on the biggest scene in TAPS Division I football. Struggling a little bit today, of course, with a very talented Parish Episcopal offense, but it does not seem like JP2 is going anywhere for quite a while. They've got a coaching staff that would rival any college program anywhere around the country. The pros that they have on their coaching staff, of course, George Teague, the former Cowboy, their head coach. Seneca Wallace, a name you probably remember, former Seahawks quarterback and other places as well, is their quarterback's coach. Michael Myers played at Alabama and with the Cowboys as their D-line coach. Chet Brooks, their defensive backs coach, played at Texas A&M and won 2 Super Bowls with the 49ers. Not bad. Jonathan Scott, their offensive line coach, played at Texas and played with the Steelers for over a decade. They're all over the roster. This ball tipped in the air, dangerous, falls incomplete. And it will be 4th down. So again, JP2 with a big stop here defensively, and one more to list off. Chris Givens, their wide receivers and tight ends coach, played at Wake Forest and then played with the Rams in the NFL. So pros all over the coaching staff, and a lot of talent on the football field, a lot of young talent on the football field being coached up by those former pros. It's a dangerous combination, and that's why JP2 has finally been able to turn the corner with this program.
Outstanding stop by the Cardinal defense here at a time they needed it, and we'll see what they can do with the ball here.
Well, and as you were talking about with JP2 and the experience that they have on their coaching staff and the youth they have on their squad, I think it's great for JP2 as a school to really give them the trust, because a lot of times we see in the pro and college level as well, you get 2 or 3 years to work with the team, and that's all you get. But they're giving Coach Teague, his coaching staff, a chance to really develop these kids, really develop the program. You give people time to develop these kids, develop the program, develop the culture that they need, and it can be hugely successful.
So with now back-to-back stops for the JP2 defense, they take the ball back, 3:09 on the clock, third quarter, still down 21, and a 5-wide receiver set for Grayson James, looking over the middle and threw it into the shoulder of Miles Parker, who had gotten hit at the line of scrimmage and did not see the football coming.
Yeah, he had a hard time getting off. You can battle those receivers within 5 yards, and Parish is doing a good job rerouting these guys and not letting them go to where they want to go.
Colby Blatnick, the one there that made the play on Miles Parker. And it'll be 2nd and 10.
Looks like Parish has moved Burris inside to play nose tackle in this 3-4 scheme. Maybe give him a little bit more speed up front, but also some size as well.
Munoz at defensive end, and they've rotated Blatnick, their jack, down to the defensive end spot. They throw it over the middle, complete. That's Miles Parker across midfield and steps out of bounds inside the 45. Late flag from way behind the play.
I think that might be a block in the back there on that block right by the sideline here on the JP2 side.
Yeah, Bradley's getting rung up there, I think.
Coach Teague not too happy right now.
All the way out to the numbers on the field with that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. He was stepping out of bounds. He was about to step out of bounds. There was no need for that block, and it's going to cost him.
Because we know Coach Teague knows what he's doing. Ask Terrell Owens.
He's pretty fired up, and he's pretty fired up right now. He's got one of his coaches pulling him back right now.
But that's the problem, especially with a lot of these kids, running all over the field and, trying to make a play, which is huge. You want your receivers, especially after they don't catch the ball, to go out and get a block, but you've got to be careful with where you're putting the hands and where you're attacking that defense.
Our crew chief today, Leighton Smith, was standing awfully close to midfield there, and with George Teague out on the field, irritating George Teague anywhere near midfield just does not feel like a smart ploy to me. You're asking for trouble. It is a first down, fresh set of downs for Grayson James and company, and again, he's got 5 wide receivers. Steps up in the pocket, tries to take off again, and again, it closes off on him very quickly. Munoz and Andrew Merrick there to close him off, and he's actually going to lose about a half a yard after all that.
Yeah, you really start to see the Parish line starting to take over. The JP line starting to get up a little bit slower. They're getting driven back, and I've been just impressed how the D-line for Parish plays football with their hands, and they're just very well coached.
Well, and I think what they're doing now, too, we're seeing a little bit more substitution, trying to keep those legs fresh, because that's something, especially in these longer ball games, you've got to do.
Injury timeout on the field.
That's the right guard, number 56, Sky Moon, down for the moment.
Freshman right guard down on the field. Injury timeout on the field, and we'll take it with him. We'll step aside here on TAPS TV. Back at Panther Stadium, 2:28 on the clock, third quarter, 35-14, the lead for Parish Episcopal over the 10-3 JP2 Cardinals as Sky Moon, the 5'10", 230-pound freshman right guard, being helped off the field slowly. Cole Record, the likely replacement. He's their backup guard on both the left and right side, number 53. He's a senior. He's also an impact player for them on the defensive side of the ball, one of their better linebackers. As JP2 deals with 2nd down and 11, they send Bradley in motion again, try and find him, and he's spun around by the defender, and a flag will come in from way behind the play. He got a hand on his hip, and he got spun around. I think it was Andrew Merrick who caught him.
That flag was thrown about 30 yards all the way from the back of the field.
I mean, hey, I could see it from up here, so I don't blame the back judge for seeing it either.
Yeah, that was an easy one. He's like, my buddies aren't calling it, I'm calling it.
And once again, we've seen a problem that Parish has had probably since at least the mid of the second quarter, getting these penalties of extended drives for the Cardinals. They're going to have to clean this up. Obviously, you know, I wouldn't say it's been a boring third quarter at all, but, you know, we haven't had anybody score in the last 10 minutes. So we'll see if the Cardinals can actually convert and use some of their speed and use some of their athleticism to get some points on the board.
Yeah, officially 8 minutes and 6 seconds is the last time either of these two teams scored. Preston Stone had that 54-yard touchdown run to start off this second half. Since then, both of these defenses have taken control of the football game. Credit to JP2, they've made a couple of big stops of Stone's offense. Their offense just hasn't been able to do anything with it when they get the football back. We'll see if that'll change here as they mark the ball at the 44, 1st and 10 on Parish's side of the field for Grayson James and company.
I think everybody for JP2 is begging them to find a way to get us to number 9, Jared Bradley.
3 wides to the right-hand side, and James looks that way. They set up the screen for Carson Collins, and he's got some space. First down, he's got blockers, and now he's loose. Inside the 25 and finally bottled up, but he's inside the red zone down to the 19. Well-designed and well-executed screen for Carson Collins, and JP2's in business.
That's going to be a highlight for number 9. Not that he caught the pass. He was downfield making some great blocks, and college coaches are going to love to see that. Not only can he catch, run great routes, he was doing some outstanding blocking down film. He needs to make sure that play is on his highlight film.
Yeah, he helped push that play at least another 10 yards.
So it's 1st and 10 at the 19. They'll bring 3 wides to the near side of the formation now. Bradley at the top of that. They hand it off to Collins, and he'll spin around and sit down for no gain. 90 seconds to play here, third quarter.
You know, I like the fact that they're not rushing, they're not in panic mode yet. They're still mixing it up a little bit, but at some point, they're going to have to start moving with a little bit of urgency.
I think if you're JP here too, if you want to stay in this game, you're going to have to put some points on the board.
Yeah, this drive needs to end in 6 for the fourth quarter to really matter here at Panther Stadium. 2nd down and 10 for James. Still plenty of time for them to do something with it if they can get something to happen here, but nice pursuit and nowhere to go for him down the field. That's a coverage sack as much as anything. Colby Blatnick takes him down for a loss of about 2, and it'll be 3rd and long.
Grayson had a defender closing behind him, still struggling just a little bit with that internal clock. You'd like to see him either making the decision to run a little sooner or get out of bounds, but he's still being a little risky there with that ball.
You know, Preston Stone's a great story. It will be, but this Parish defense, you can watch them play and understand why they're in the state championship game.
3rd down and 12 for James. 3 wides to the near side. Pressure in his face, evades it. Looking downfield, and he fell down. I don't think he was contacted. I think he just lost his footing there at the 26. He still had space to make a play there and just couldn't stay on his feet. And on the final play of quarter number 3, a big loss, and it'll set up 4th and 17 when we come back for the fourth quarter of the TAPS D1 state title game on TAPS TV. 4th down, 17, staring in the face of John Paul II, trailing 35-14 as we start quarter number 4 in the TAPS D1 state title game. Jackson Mata, their field goal kicker. They trust him out to about a 40-yard field goal. Ball sitting on the 26 right now. It would be a 43-yarder. He would have the wind with him, so perhaps that's within range, but it certainly looks like they're going to have their offense out here for 4th down and 17, trailing by 3 scores. They need 7, not 3 right now, and they're going to try and hunt after that with Grayson James and company.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision by Coach Teague to allow his offense to get the first down because, as you said, he's got to score.
James looking end zone and over the head and incomplete. Tried to find Jerron Bradley inside the 5. Incomplete. They didn't really have a good chance at it. And the ball goes back over to Parish Episcopal.
I think you're going to see here in this 4th quarter a lot of running, a lot of, milking of the clock from the Parish offense. They know they've got the lead, got 21 points in front of John Paul II, so for them to really milk this clock and use the strong running game, I think is going to be their key to success here in the 4th.
Parish Episcopal with 189 rushing yards today on 27 carries, averaging 7 yards per attempt. 121 of those 189 coming via their quarterback, Preston Stone, and here they hand it off to Caleb Culp, who slips his way down across the 30.
And when you run for 7 yards a carry, you're going to win a lot of football games.
I think he was trying to stay in bounds because he knows they've got to run the clock, but able to get him pushed out of bounds, so clock's going to stop. But as Coach Thexton said, if you can get 6, 7, 8 yards a carry, it doesn't matter if you get in or out of bounds enough, you're going to get down the field quickly.
So 2nd down and 6 after that. JP2's defense needs to create some havoc here. Well, misdirection and well read by the Cardinals defense. That gains nothing.
JP defense playing very tough. They got another opportunity to get maybe 3. Would that be 3 stops in a row now?
Yeah.
Well, I think they've done a much better job in the second half, staying at home, picking up a good blitz here or there, obviously making Preston Stone throw some, awkward passes. Obviously being a great quarterback, he can make some of those throws, but you got to make it harder on him to not be able to just be the field general he has been.
3rd and 6 for Stone. Trying to set something up for Benson. They read it well. Now he's going to have to try and run for it, being strung out on the right-hand side. Can he get to the pylon? They're going to mark him out of bounds short. Couldn't quite get to the stick, and it'll be 4th down and 2.
Made a great effort for it, but now it's decision time. It's an easy decision if it's not a 1st down. Punt it and play defense.
For sure, with the way their defense has been playing, and obviously they're going to punt into the wind a little bit, but if you can at least get JP2 back on their 30-yard line and make them march it downfield, you're going to take some time off. So I think this is a good decision.
Stone's still out there.
I was going to say, Stone's still out on the field. I'm not sure that they've made the decision that we think they should.
Yeah, Matt.
4th and 2, and they're going to go for it.
2 yards and you end the game.
Stone takes the snap. He dropped and just has to plop on top of it.
Oh, my goodness.
What an error by Parish Episcopal, and they're going to give JP2 the football inside the 30-yard line.
That was an interesting turn of events for sure. Jeez.
I bet if we asked Coach after the game, I bet they were trying to just draw him off sides. I don't think that ball was ever supposed to be snapped.
Certainly didn't seem that Preston Stone expected a snap.
Not at all.
I don't think anybody else did either. Nobody moved. Nobody moved except for the ball.
So that leads to 1st and 10 at the 28 for Grayson James and the JP2 offense. 4 wide receiver set. Pressure in his face, try to get away from Blake Burris. Throw the football away.
Coach T is going to have a long talk, I'm sure, this offseason about how much lost yardage when all you got to do is just throw it away there.
All he has to do is throw the football out of bounds. Instead, they lose 7 yards. He had plenty of time, plenty of space to just throw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, the one thing I always tell my quarterbacks is you can't go broke making a profit. And obviously coming – dead even on that play would have been better than losing the yardage you did.
Call it officially a loss of 8, and it's 2nd and 18. James trying to earn some of it back, thrown on the left-hand side for Bradley, but it's wide of the target. A little miscommunication there between the two.
great call on the defense. They brought the blitz from that side, and that usually quarterbacks are taught where the blitz comes from. That's where you're going to make the throw. And they still had 2 guys over there covering up, so they almost talked him into a throw that he shouldn't have made. Really, really like the defense of Parish's, the game plan they've got out there.
I think if you're JP2 here, I would maybe dial up a trick play because obviously with James being a little bit rattled right now, have them get some, good yardage on this. If they can get first down or score, that would be huge.
The last 2 targets to Bradley, they seem like they have not been on the same page.
Here comes James again on 3rd and 18. He's going to go to Bradley again, too tall once again. And it's going to be 4th and 18. They just have not been able to connect. They started to, it seemed, get something rolling early on in the 3rd quarter, but they haven't been consistent enough with it.
Yeah, these spread teams, Matt and Gabe, they talk about rhythm, and it just doesn't feel like JP's had any rhythm going the last couple drives.
Yeah, it's been kind of rough. Obviously, Parish has done a great job dialing up some blitzes, mixing up their coverages, forcing the young quarterback James to try to find it and try to think too much, and they're doing a great job so far.
So now they have to go for it on 4th and 18. 3 wides to the near side. James stepping up in the pocket and taken down by Blatnick. Nothing but backward movement from the JP2 offense after they were gifted the football at the 28-yard line. And with 10 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock, it just ticked down to 10:06 for some reason. It was still moving after that play. Parish Episcopal will take the football back, and that feels like a death blow right there for JP2.
You can't help but feel a little bit like maybe it's the inexperience of this team, their first time here and just trying to get accustomed to the big stage. This was not the way they played throughout most of the regular season and into the playoffs that got them here.
They did not handle that possession well. There's no 2 ways about it. And now they give it back to Parish Episcopal. And big number 28, they're running. It was Preston Stone a little bit mixed up and being, I beg your pardon, it wasn't Stone. Stone was the one who was taking, who was that who got tangled up? But Foster Malloy, their tight end. There was a little extracurriculars after the play, and Stone was over there and was taking Malloy and kind of pushing him away and trying to break up whatever had happened.
Yeah, it's probably the reality of what's about to happen is probably starting to set in on JP2 and probably got a little bit of frustration starting to show now with their play.
2nd down and 5 after the run by Corin Lynch, and this time Stone's going to keep it after he's put it in the belly of Lynch and pick up the first down as he dives across midfield.
Those SMU coaches have got to like that. Hard running right up the middle there by that quarterback.
3 timeouts still left for JP2, but I think their biggest frustration is going to be they got the stops they've needed in this second half. They needed to get at least 2. They've gotten 4, and yet they've done nothing with any of them.
They're going to look back and I mean, they're still playing hard, there, but they're going to look back and say exactly what you're saying. Hey, we had some opportunities. The defense did their job. But, again, I don't know if it's the inability of JP's offense or it's just Parish's defense that much better.
Yeah, I can't help but wonder. I mean, 2 things that I think they'll look back at this football game if they're not able to make a comeback here over the final 8 minutes and 27 seconds. Certainly the inability to move the football in the second half and take advantage of what their defense had done. And then the first half mistakes that gave Parish Episcopal short fields.
Correct.
The interception gave him the ball at the 32. The fake punt that failed by maybe 2 or 3 inches that gave him the ball at the 35. And then the fumble early on in the 3rd quarter that gave Parish the football at the 44. Giving this kind of offense a short field is a recipe for disaster. And here they are down by 3 scores after those 3 circumstances. That's a big part of why they're not closer in this football game.
Yeah, it's gonna lead to some restless nights about what could have been. But one of the biggest mistakes they can't make. Hey, we're young. We're going to be back. I mean, Prestonwood's going to have something to say about that. There's lots of schools, so they're going to have to learn from this. and just continually try to improve. See too many teams with young rosters get state championship games just thinking next year's our chance, and there's lots of other schools that are going to have something to say about that also.
Playing in certainly the most difficult district in Division I. It's not tough to come out of that district as Stone fires it deep downfield but overshoots Caleb Culp. Sorry, go ahead. I was just saying going for the jugular. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for JP2 is obviously, getting closer and closer to time running out here. May not be, what they wanted, but I think going into their off season, that's the way you're really going to have to approach it because, obviously game doesn't end the way you want it to, but the way you approach the next 6 months will make a difference on how the, 5 months of the next season goes for you.
3rd down and 17 now here for Stone after the penalty had knocked him back. I'm going to go to the air to try and pick it up. Fires deep down the right sideline and overshoots his target again. Flags come in, though. That looked like incidental contact to me, and I'm seeing, Larry, your hands go up. I think you're probably thinking the same, no?
Yeah, I don't understand the call there. The ball was never catchable. He just threw it. Nobody was trying to make a play on the ball, and it was just incidental contact. I don't understand that. But for the most part, I think it's been a really well-called football game today.
I would agree, yeah. 2 broadcasters thought it wasn't pass interference. 2 officials thought it was. They both threw the flag.
Here's the replay. It looks like there was a little bit of a push there by number 10 for JP2. It could have gone uncalled, but with 2 officials making the call, they've got a better vantage point than we do, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm going to whisper this. You're up 21. Run the ball. So don't bail them out with a pass interference like that. So.
Exactly. Fresh set of downs here for Preston Stone and company, and with 7:37 on the clock, this one is almost academic at this point, and Christian Benson trying to make it even more so, close to the first down marker with a 9-yard run.
Larry, I think they heard you on that one.
Yeah, they came in double tight, and let's just play some power football and end this thing.
Yeah, because at least if you can, milk at least 3 to 4 minutes off this, it's almost going to make it next to impossible to come back.
Yeah, I really like this scheme by Coach Novick. I mean, they can beat you both ways. They can beat you on the ground. They can beat you on the air. That is a defense coordinator's nightmare. If I take something away, their other stuff good enough to beat me too.
Parish Episcopal trying to continue their return to prominence. Won 2 state championships under Scott Nady. He went 130-1 in his 13-year tenure after he created the program back in 2003. Daniel Novikov took the program over after being the offensive coordinator under Nady in 2017. 5-7 in his first year, but the last 2 years they've really blossomed back into the program that they've really always been. 10-4 last year, a trip to the state semifinals. This year, 11-1 and 6.5 minutes away from making it 12-1 and state champs for the first time since 2014. Fresh first down at the 28.
How would you like to be lined up across from number 99 right now?
Yeah, no thanks. Want no part of Blake Burris. Nice run here by Benson getting to the outside. Makes another man miss. He's got another first down. He's dangerous, man. Every time he puts the football in his hands, there's a threat that the ball is going to the house.
Yeah, the kid's special. You can see why there's so many schools taking a look at him. Both him and both those running backs for Parish they're special. And it makes Stone even that much better when you've got to worry about the run and he's going to get single coverage all over the place. It's a good problem to have.
Well, you talk about, the youth of JP2, and you're talking about, sometimes young teams make that mistake of, we'll be back next year. Next year's our year. Well, JP2, if you are back next year, chances are good you're going to have to deal with this same team next year because this is also a young football team led by Preston Stone. Getting to the outside, and there is the exclamation point for the king of Friday night. 35-14. Parish Episcopal adding 6 more, 41-14. The Panthers on their way to their 3rd state championship, first in 5 years, and Preston Stone, the author of it all.
There's a great replay there. It just sort of looked like he had been saving that one, knew he could do it at any time he wanted to, and he chose a great time to really blow this thing open.
Yeah, and did right in front of the SMU coaching staff, too, and they're all high-fiving over there. So that was neat to see that. Hey, we're here looking at you, and he made a play right in front of them.
6 for 6 on the day is Reed Boister, and it's 42-14. Parish Episcopal with the first touchdown of this football game since the early moments of the third quarter. But that will be certainly all they need today to come away with a state championship. As Preston Stone scores for the third time today on the ground, fourth in total. He also has a touchdown pass to Christian Benson that opened the scoring for the Panthers.
And JP2 is obviously going to be disappointed that this season doesn't end the way the perfect fairy tale should, but let's not lose sight of what they've done here. Prior to this season, 20 wins to 112 losses in their history. Their win total this year matches their combined wins for the last 7 years. So they took a huge step forward this year, and it's going to be great to see what this, as you mentioned, NFL caliber coaching staff can do with these young men in the years to come.
No doubt. I mean, they'll be back. I mean, I think there's, whether it's necessarily to this stage or not, to your point, Larry, is entirely valid, because trying to make it through the Division I playoffs is no easy task. But they're going to be contenders, I think, for sure, in the years to come with the talent they've got on this roster.
You know, there's the fan perception where your program's at, and there's the coach's perception. There was a time then when we would all call JP and get a game. Hey, would you want to play? And now coaches are hesitating. Do you really want to play JP? And you've got to really think long and hard about it, because they are a very talented football team.
A little dose of it there on the kickoff return as a couple flags fly in after the play. A little more chippiness as this game is getting late in what is now a 42-14 game. But Shante Nettles has got some scoots, and he showed it there. See what Leighton Smith has to say about what the flag is here.
You know, Deacon Jake came into the school as the new president, and he wanted to make football a priority. And you saw signage on the football field. When you go by on Coit Road, you saw signage on the side of the building, so you're not confused. Is what kind of building is this anymore? You know it's John Paul II High School. And I keep looking down, and I'm just blown away. Cheerleaders, drill team, the band, the student section, they're starting to do things right at JP2. It's exciting to see that program start to take off. Lynch and some of these other schools need to be worried if they get big in Plano. It's going to be great for them there. So I'm happy for Coach Teague that they've got it turned around, and they'll get them bounced back and get their heads right and get them rolling again next year. I'm excited for him, but this Parish team is going to be doing the exact same thing with rings on, getting ready for next year.
Here comes Grayson James on 1st and 10 after the penalty knocked him back after the kickoff. He's got the first down and then some out to the 35. But to your point, it's something that when I spoke with Coach Teague earlier this week, he mentioned just the support of the school as a whole has made such a difference in them being able to build this program to where they are right now. It just makes such a difference when everybody's pulling in the same direction.
Yeah, he couldn't talk about it without tearing up. There's a young lady in their school that couldn't be here today because she had brain surgery on Tuesday, and she's apologizing to Coach Teague because she couldn't be here to watch the game.
Oh, my gosh. 1st and 10 for James. Now, today didn't go the way that the Cardinals wanted it to, but they did show quite a bit today. Big hit there.
That was a big hit.
It was Carson Collins on the receiving end of the big hit. Did you guys catch a number? I didn't fully see who laid the wood to him there. Looks like it was beg your pardon. It was Luke Bridges, I think.
22?
I thought it was 20 Bridges. It may have.
Okay.
If it was 22, it was Colby Blatnick. They do pick up 5 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 5. You know, I mentioned earlier Preston Stone, the king of Friday night. The only reason I reference that's the name of his documentary on the Overtime Network. He's been followed around by a camera crew all this season as James completes it on the near side in the hands of Miles Parker, who's had a nice day. Yeah, the Sports Digital Network Overtime featuring Stone and TC Cedar Hills quarterback Shador Sanders in kind of dueling documentaries. Those two quarterbacks, of course, played one another in the opening week of the regular season on ESPN2, a game that Parish won 33-27 in overtime on a touchdown run by Preston Stone. I kind of want to – okay, so Parish Episcopal is about to win the Division I state championship here in 4 minutes and change. TC Cedar Hill certainly favored to win the Division II state championship tonight at 7 o'clock. We've got the D3 game and the D4 game tomorrow at noon and 7 o'clock, respectively. Let's just stick around until Sunday, bring TC Cedar Hill and Parish Episcopal back and play those two against one another to really decide who the best team in private school football is in the state, right?
Yeah,
why not?
That would be something else. That was a great game the first time they played. That was so much fun to watch. That would definitely answer the question.
I do not in any way, shape, or form mean to besmirch JP2 or Austin Regions, two very good football teams, and I think Regions definitely believes that they've got a chance to pull the upset just like JP2 felt like they had a chance to today. And we saw the way the Cardinals started the football game today is exactly how Austin Regions needs to start the game tonight. It's not a fait accompli here that TC Cedar Hill is going to win tonight at 7 o'clock, but I think most people would agree your two best private schools teams in the state of Texas are Parish Episcopal and Trinity Christian Cedar Hill, and they played an absolute classic week one of the regular season. I imagine some folks that maybe you're listening from Parish Episcopal right now are saying, we already know.
That's exactly right.
We already won the game.
I was about to say, your explanation needs to be to the Parish fans who are going to say, hey, we already did that.
Yeah, we settled that.
Nice drive here from Grayson James and company as they're down inside the 25. They finally get the ball to Jerron Bradley here in the fourth quarter as he gets to the 21.
You know, one of the things when we made, it was such a long time ago, when we made the runs to the state championship game that people don't realize, both these schools have 4 extra weeks of practice, and that's going to pay off as they roll into spring football. Mm-hmm. A lot of young kids getting extra reps that other schools don't get, so that's going to help both these programs also as they move forward.
I was talking with some of the coaches from the 6-man teams earlier this week. We did all 3 of those games yesterday, and some of those programs are routinely at this stage of the playoffs. What a catch that was.
That was beautiful.
Look at Donovan Johnson. Can we forget anything that I was saying right now? Can we look about 7 different replays of this play? That was sensational.
I mean, he made it look like he was bored doing it, too. That was incredible.
Yeah, Gabe, can we get that in the Sports Center top 10? That was pretty.
Donovan Johnson, a 3-star product. I don't know if our replay crew over there with Midway ISD, the AV program, Caleb Overstreet and Tanya Lacey, been doing a great job for us all week long here. If we can cue up a replay of what was a fantastic catch by Donovan Johnson. Again, 16 offers for him from schools around the country. Arizona State, Arkansas, Houston, LSU, Utah, Purdue, just a couple of them.
Here it comes.
Here we go. One more look at, this was a special catch.
Rolls right, yawns, reaches up.
Yawns, yes, he did.
And my wife's going to kill me. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Officials still discussing something down here on the near side.
Yeah, whatever happened, JP declined it, but I don't know if I ever saw a flag.
I didn't either, but to be honest, I was waiting for a replay. That's all I was really – with 3:02 on the clock, whatever the flag was, frankly, doesn't matter all that much in a 28-point football game here late in the fourth. But that play was pretty special from Donovan Johnson. It'll be 1st and 10. They'll mark it at the 13. And James is thinking end zone here, fires that way, and can he make another catch? Did he haul it in? Incomplete. He almost caught it. Donovan Johnson nearly made another sensational grab.
I thought he was just going to one up his last play.
I mean, that would have even been a better catch.
James did a good job of extending that play to get him open with his feet. Nice throw by the junior quarterback.
Second down and 10 now from the 13. 2:55 left on the clock as we play out the string here in the Division I state championship game. Parish Episcopal waiting to celebrate a state title here. Over the head of Miles Parker and incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 10. This will mark 12 consecutive years that the state champion in TAPS Division I comes from the DFW area. 6 of those 11 have come out of District 1. Preston Woods got 3, Bishop Lynch with 1, Bishop Dunn with 2, and now Parish Episcopal will add 1 to their register as well in Division 1. They won 2014 back in Division 2. The other 5, of course, coming from Nolan Catholic, who's had a fantastic run as well out of Division 2.
Yeah, that was those Joe Prudhomme coach teams. They strung 7 together under his tenure there at Nolan.
3rd and 10, pressure from behind him. They try and find Johnson again, and it's incomplete. He got hit hard, did James, as he delivered that pass. Colby Blattnick coming off the right edge.
Just to clarify, I meant 7 over his tenure, not 7 consecutively.
Right, I got you.
But, you know,
now at Texas Wesleyan.
Yeah, correct.
We take stuff like coaches don't realize. Coach Reese, the Coach Ferris, the defensive coordinator for JP, coached in public schools. 42 years he's been coaching. This is the first time he's ever made a state championship game. People don't realize how hard it is to get one, let alone be in 7 of them. My goodness.
It'll be 4th down and 10 here for JP2, and they'll call timeout with 2:44 on the clock in the 4th quarter. Second half certainly did not go how they wanted it to go. Frankly, since the first quarter, since the end of the first, it hasn't gone JP2's way. But still an impressive performance from them to make it as close as they did for a while, to hang around in this football game through that third quarter. And more than anything, their season as a whole is what is to be commended with what they had been prior to this season. Again, 58 consecutive district losses. That number just boggles my mind. And then to snap that losing streak with an 11 overtime win, George Teague talked about, he said, every possible emotion that one could experience in humanity, he went through over the course of those 11 overtimes. Ultimately, they come away with the win. He said the locker room that day was just raucous. And then they turned that into a second district win, into 3 playoff wins, and a state championship game appearance. It's been a remarkable season for JP2.
False start there. I remember our coaches, we were looking at the Dallas Morning News, and we couldn't understand the score until we realized it was an 11 overtime, because you have to start going for 2 every time. And the whisper was, hey, JP just beat Dunn. JP, and no way. And then we started looking at the score.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't add up. How can you win an overtime game with that score? And, man, that's impressive. And that's when they had Parish. You know, Coach Teague was hoping that maybe that had factored in a little bit, because that was the next game, and they were still on a little bit of 11 overtime hangover.
Yeah. And that's the only game that Parish, that JP2 has lost since they beat Bishop Dunn. They've won every other game on their schedule except for when they've played Parish Episcopal. And on 4th down and very long, Grayson James taken down in the backfield. And that'll be the end of this one. 2:31 on the clock. And
yeah, I think JP's given I think they gave a great effort today. Hats off to the Parish defense. They exerted their will on JP2. One coverage breakdown for one of the touchdowns, but JP2 had a great opening drive, but it's been all Parish ever since.
We've lost Matt Tarbutton, the 4th member of our crew, as he's made his way down to the field for the trophy presentation, which is just 2 minutes and 23 seconds away here. JP2 with 2 timeouts remaining. I don't know whether or not they'll use them down 28 here. So a couple of running plays for Preston Stone and the Parish offense, away from a state championship for the first time since 2014 for the Panthers.
We go about maybe 4 plays to run the clock out here.
Corin Lynch with the handoff, picking his way across the 30 to the 35 and out to the 37.
A young man still running for the end zone.
He runs hard, man.
He does run hard. He's fun to watch.
I mean, all 3 of their backs, and that's the crazy thing, is how talented they are coming out of the backfield and what these guys can do to be multiple, just display their multiple skills. Over 800 rushing yards on the year for Corin Lynch and 11 touchdowns. Preston Stone chipped in with 671 rushing yards of his own coming into today and 8 TDs. Christian Benson, 336 on the ground and 7 touchdowns. Caleb Culp, they'll use more as a receiver than they do as a runner, but he had 99 yards on 21 carries and a touchdown. Also had 550 through the air coming into today. I mean, these 3 backs behind Preston Stone, I mean, just think about how talented that backfield is. And it's a big part of why they're going to win a state championship for the first time in 5 years.
And another note, and I really like this part of it too, I think there's 7 or 8 of them that have basketball practice on Monday, and the basketball coach is just waiting for them for football to end so he can get them over. I just love the idea of kids playing multiple sports and these football kids rolling into basketball season.
Amen. That was me once upon a time. Nowhere near as talented as these young men are, I can promise you. I was an aggressively mediocre high school quarterback, and then I rolled into basketball season and was like the 9th man off the bench. So I wasn't as talented as these kids were, but as these kids are, but definitely in favor of playing multiple sports. It just leads to a better high school experience in my mind anyway, and These young men are certainly enjoying their experience right now as the clock winds under a minute, and they're dancing in the backfield, celebrating the state championship.
Yeah, one more snap, and they have every right to celebrate. They and I know it hurts if you're a JP2 fan, but they've got every right. They came out and they had a 48-minute argument, and they won it.
12-1, state champions. Preston Stone and the Parish Episcopal Panthers scale the mountain. They are the best TAPS team in the state of Texas.
As you mentioned, for Parish Episcopal, their third state championship, the first in Division I. They have climbed the ladder, establishing excellence at all levels of private school football. And what an incredible feather in the cap of this program. They've done it at every level, and it's just something that schools across the state can aspire to.
42-14 the final score. Preston Stone 12 of 23, 151 passing yards and a touchdown, 17 carries, 146 rushing yards, and 3 more scores to lead the way for the Panthers offense. Christian Benson was electric for him out of the backfield. 11 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. 7 receptions, 113 yards, and a touchdown through the air. And Parish Episcopal's offense just too much for JP2 to contend with as they hang 42 on them and win a state championship today here at Panther Stadium. Grayson James for JP2, a nice day, 16 of 32, 286, and 2 touchdowns. Did have the 1 interception. Carson Collins leading the way for the Panthers, for the Cardinals rather, on the ground, 11 carries for 31 yards. Miles Parker with a nice day, 5 receptions, 105 yards and a touchdown. Shunte Nettles, 3 for 89 and a touchdown. The TD making up 70 of those 89 yards. Jerron Bradley, as fantastic a talent as he is, on the year, 19 touchdowns, over 1,300 receiving yards on 84 receptions. But today, Parish Episcopal's defense did a good job to bottle him up. 4 catches for 44 yards, and that is, as much as anything else, a big reason why Parish Episcopal is celebrating in midfield right now as state champions.
If you would have told me Stone had more rushing yards than he did passing yards, I would have thought JP had a chance to win the game. But just impressive kid. If not going to give him the ball downfield, he'll just win it with his feet. Did a great job.
A 54-yard touchdown right out of halftime. Wasn't quite the death blow because there was still a lot of time left, and credit to JP2, they still hung around for a while, but that was a big play in this football game to just kind of set the tone for the second half. Touchdown runs really sandwiching halftime. A shorter touchdown run with 1:05 left in the second quarter to make it 28-14. And then they received the opening kickoff of the second half and went straight down the field and scored a touchdown yet again to lead 35-14. That sequence is really where they just kind of ran away from JP2.
Yeah, that's killer when you get the double possession score at the half. That's tough to overcome.
Meanwhile, for George Teague and his coaching staff, just a fantastic season. They'll finish 10-4. They went 2-2 in district play, their first 2 district wins since 2009. And they make it all the way to the state championship game. They come up short, but still, as he holds that trophy in the air, that plaque in the air, worth celebrating and worth being proud of because it was a fantastic season for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Coach Teague says trust the process, and he actually has exactly what that means written down. And I think going over his whole list, they crossed off 6 of their 8 items this year. Mm-hmm. And little things were the other one that they didn't get. I mean, that's going to be highlighted for next year. But we say that as coaches a lot of times, trust the process. But sometimes we don't write down. Nobody really knows what that process is. And Coach Teague did a really good job of telling his team what that is and how to get there. Yeah, you should be really, really pleased with what they've done. And now it's just get them focused on next year and try to get them back. But man, it is such a meat grinder, that district. So, but a great run. If you would have said JP2 is going to play in state championships, you would have lost all credibility. But it was a great run, and couldn't be happier for Coach Teague. he was the guy to turn it around, and it's turned around now.
42-14 the final score as Parish Episcopal wins a championship. Fantastic season for Preston Stone and the entire Panthers offense. Stone with his 3 touchdown runs on the day. Also a touchdown through the air. He'll finish with 37 touchdown passes, only 4 interceptions, and another 11 touchdowns on the ground. So 48 total touchdowns this season for Preston Stone against only 4 interceptions. A 12-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
And Parish is going to be around with this coaching staff. They're going to be around every year in this conversation also. They called a great game on both sides of the ball today. Sometimes I feel like I might have talked too much about JP's coaching staff, but, man, Parish was impressive. This was the only second time I've had a chance to see him play. Just they were solid. Good plan, good execution, and knew what to call, when. Sometimes it's hard when you're expected to win, and they expected to win like this. It's tough, and they handled it. They handled it with ease.
Daniel Novikov hoisting the plaque in the air, a championship for Parish Episcopal for the first time in 5 years, for the first time under Daniel Novikov. And every player in that huddle trying to get their hands on that trophy. They've worked hard for that and earned that over the course of a 12-1 season. And looking ahead for these two teams, certainly I think these two are among your contenders in Division I for next year. I think the one team that beat Parish Episcopal this year, All Saints, when they get healthy, is another big contender in this division as well. Certainly pretty much every team in Division I would be considered a contender out of this, out of District 2, would be a contender out of in this division. Bishop Lynch, Bishop Dunn, they're used to being at this stage. Preston Wood as well. These two teams, All Saints, Nolan Catholic, always in the conversation. There are a handful of teams that are going to be duking it out next year that are all young this year and that will be back and healthy and going after it in 2020. But in 2019, the Parish Episcopal Panthers, 12-1 and state champs in TAPS Division I. Fellas, your final thoughts before we say goodbye and tease ahead to tonight's 7 o'clock kickoff in Division II.
Just really again impressed with how far TAPS football has come. This was two teams that have extremely well coached, played tough. There's so many prospects out there on the field. I think it says a lot about the level of private school football in the state of Texas and how good it is. And I'm looking forward to tonight's game because we talked about this coaching staff. Coach Beck at Austin Regents. Cedar Hill's got a great football team. Excited to see them play again. But if there's somebody who's got a game plan up on the board somewhere that could possibly pull an upset, it's Coach Beck at Regents.
Yeah, I would second what you said about the districts there coming out of District 2, District 1. Parish absolutely earned this victory, absolutely earned this season. The bye week, the perennial favorite, and they showed why on both sides of the ball that they're holding that state championship trophy. Just what a great performance by that Panther team today.
42-14 the final score. Preston Stone with 4 combined touchdowns. Christian Benson with a pair. Corin Lynch found the end zone. It was a offensive day for Parish Episcopal in a 42-14 win over JP2 in the Division I state championship game. With that, this one's in the books. Our thanks to the entire TAPS TV team. Our producer here with us in the booth is Will Dixon. The director of media for TAPS TV is John Skees. The associate director of TAPS, Steve Pradam, and the executive director is Brian Bunselmeyer. For Matt Tarbutton, Larry Thexton, and Gabe Duarte here with me in the booth, I'm Mike Leslie. We hope you'll join us this evening at 7 o'clock for the Division II state championship game. Trinity Christian Cedar Hill and Austin Regents. 11-1 Austin Regents, 12-1 Trinity Christian Cedar Hill on the year, going toe-to-toe for the Division II state title tonight at 7 o'clock right here on TAPS TV. Brought to you in part by the Midway ISD AV program, Caleb Overstreet and Tanya Lacey. Thanks so much for watching today. Your final score one last time, 42-14, Parish Episcopal, your Division I state champs. So long from Panther Stadium, everybody. We'll see you tonight.